Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? And welcome to Adam Ivel Podcast. That sounded terrible, didn't it? I will get this intro down one day. Today is not that day. Today, though, don't you ever do that ever again. I am joined by one of my good friends, one of the longest friends I've had in this weird car world that I exist in, and I wanted to introduce him to you guys. He's got quite an interesting story, I think, and he's very, very quirky like me, so I think it should be for some very good conversation. Hopefully it all goes very smooth. So Sam Anderton, welcome to my podcast. How are you doing, Sam?
Thank you very much. Doing very well, doing as good as you can do during all this, isn't it? But yeah, hanging in there, mate, hanging in there.
Good. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. I genuinely appreciate it, because I kind of, it's a bit last minute, but I was like, I don't really want to be on my own tonight, so I'm just going to text Sam and see if he wants to talk for a couple of hours.
Oh, so, love a transfer deadline conversation. Nothing wrong with that.
But you have a bit of an interesting story, I think, and I think it'd be cool to touch on. And you've got a cool car with a cool build going on, and people may know you by your Instagram tag, which is Sam the Man, right?
SamTheManVision.
Vision. Sorry, I forgot the vision bit on the end. Normally Instagram just fills that bit in for me after I put Sam T in it.
Instagram used to just be pictures, and now it's changed, and now it's just it's when I was a kid.
When I was a child, before Zuckerberg got his greedy mitts on everything, it was actually good. So let's start off first by going over brief car history, so the listeners, if they don't follow you in that, know what you're all about. So yeah, fill us in. What have you got?
Right, what we've got right now?
No. Start from the very beginning.
Right, for the very wow. Okay, embarrassing. I'm going to be loose on the street cred before it even starts. So first car I got was a 1.1 Citroen Saxo, and it was black. Had some had some roof race multi-spec wheels, which I thought was cool as and I thought I'd get nothing but girls of it. Turns out it did the complete polar opposite. It was like a repellent. Like,
hang on, before you move on though, let's not lie. For the most part, cars do not bring in women. Like for the most part, like how many gross dudes do you know with Lamborghinis that definitely don't have a supermodel girlfriend?
This is true, but then when I get onto,
there's some.
I mean, my wife's next door, so I gotta be so careful what I say.
Just skim over that stuff, man. Just skim over that.
I got noise cancer headphones on, so I'm all like, yeah, what I did, and the other side, she's like, ah.
For those that are listening and not watching on YouTube, he's also sat behind a mirror. So if we see a thing come flying through that door behind you on YouTube, that might be worth checking out the clip. I will definitely be clickbaiting that if it goes down, by the way. So you had the Saxo. Yeah, you had the Saxo. What come after that?
Then I thought, hey, it's so good. Why not, do it twice? So I bought another one, but I bought a VTR this time.
Okay, so the VTR was like the mid-range one, right? Was it the VTS that was like the super fast? Well, I say super fast.
Debate, wasn't it? This was it was quicker than the V. It was like the VTR was like you couldn't afford a VTS. That's so sad.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, VTR was like the one below.
What was the difference? Do you know?
I used to know. That's how long it was. Right. I actually can't remember. It was just the power. All I remember was always being like, just don't mention that it's not a VTR. I'd be like, yeah, it's a VT series. Yeah,
right.
Is that a VTR or VTS? I'd be like, yeah.
Right.
just mumble out.
But was one like a 16 valve and one an 8 valve? Maybe was that the difference? I don't know.
I don't know. All I know was it was absolutely. I don't know how I didn't die in it. It literally was just disgraceful. It was. I met my best friend, one of my best friends through it, Chris Jennings, who does. Hey guys, quick competition. Sorry, CJ, I had to drop that in there, mate. That's how we became friends. Met from a car advert. He turns out lived up the side of town of me, and he was basically like on the test drive when we had the car. We almost died in the test drive. That's how bad it was.
Okay.
That was pretty mental. Yeah, he was like, yeah, meet me. We'll go to the test drive in the car. So I get there. It's all gutted out, all stripped out with just 2 seats. And I'm like, bit of me, love this. And obviously we live off in the Norfolk, in the Norfolk coast. There were some good farm roads, and he was hanging like a bat from a night before, which probably wasn't a good idea. And he was like, do you want to see how fast it's around a corner? Because it was lowered. And long story short, we hit a bit of horse manure or like mud from a tractor, car slid, went over the grass verge. My life flashed before my eyes.
And then you bought it off him.
And then when he corrected it, I then went, so you still want 1100 for it then, yeah? And he was like, what? You still want to buy it? I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then that was it. And then we became friends from there.
Brilliant. What came after that? Was it the Civic or?
And this was it. This was the Civic.
And that's what you still have now, right?
Yeah, still. What was it now? So I bought that in, oh my God, 2011. So it'll be
10 years.
10 years in June. Oh my God.
We are old, man.
Damn, man, you old.
Damn, dude, you old. So you old as hell. So is it a secret what you're doing to it? Because obviously I know what the plans are with the car. I don't know. Is it like a secret from the internet or is it public?
Yeah, we're gonna set it on fire and dance around it.
100%. Let's wait till it's worth a bit more first because they are going up in value again.
Nah, yeah, no, it's not a secret to be fair. Like I put something today on Instagram story to be fair about it. And the plan is obviously obviously it's not obvious because you don't know, do you? But it's gonna be a K24 Frank we're going for. Nothing crazy, just standard bottom end K24 Frank, gone for a K24 A block. I'm gonna whack that on top of my current K20A heads. And then I can go in more detail if you want, but that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, fill us in.
Yeah, so it's gonna so my car's a bit of a freak of nature. So we've gone a bit like it's all Frankenstein. Like my car, if it could talk, it'd be a dirty mongrel. It'd be all like literally. It's got
kind of what it sounds like on Startup anyway.
Yeah, it probably sounds worse than that to be fair. Yeah, literally, it's like what's that thing from Lord of the Rings?
Gollum.
Smeagol, literally. Yeah, Gollum is it?
Yeah, he's got both in it. Smeagol and Gollum. That's what he called himself, didn't he?
Oh my God, yeah, the car is just so crossbred. Literally, it's got like web feet and everything. It's terrible. Probably makes sense for being in Norfolk. Sorry, guys. Literally. Yeah, so I've got the K20 head on it. It's a DC5 block with the standard bolt on, so the 70mm RBC. We've got the 70mm skunk 2 throttle body. Obviously, DC5 counts as DC5 block. We've got Toda manifold, custom 3-inch system.
Oh, you've got. Sorry, you said earlier you got K24A block. So do you mean K20A? Or have you got a K20 head?
So I've done a K20A head.
Right. Okay. So DC5 head with a what's the block out of? Is it a Type S Accord or something?
So the K24A has come out of a CRV automatic. So the gears had been crunched. It's brilliant.
Right. Okay.
So it's nice. It's fresher than the way your nan would look after it for the milk round. It's absolutely mint. And yeah, and the only thing I didn't know was about there's a few bits that are missing from the K24A in comparison to the K24A3, and it's like the oil squirters are in the K24A3, but they aren't in the K24A. I feel like I'm just saying loads of random letters now, and it's just like
no, I'm following.
I actually didn't know that when I was finding this out, and the guy that's helping me build it was just like I'll go into more detail about him if you want me to later. He's like my local or my Dr. Honda. He just knows everything. Like this this guy has been kicking about for years. Like put it this way, he used to babysit me. He was my love for Hondas because he in 1990 what was it in 1999 he took me out in his Honda CRX and he put in a DC2 lump in it, and at the time it was like, you did what? How did you do that? Where did you read it from? Like internet was like awful place. Like it was like Tesco dial-up. It was terrible. Like
did the internet even exist in the late 90s? I can't even remember when it came about.
I think communication was still done by carrier pigeon, I think, at that time. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. It was something like that. It must have been. But yeah, and Hawkins was all like, his name was Hawkins. And he was just like proper Bedford man. Like he was just like, yeah, let me take your brother out in it. Like my older brother, like, let me take your little brother out, me and me. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Like a teeny, I was like a teeny baby with like the giant little eyes, like the cute bug eyes. I was like, yeah, let me go out in it. And literally, my life changed when I went in that car.
That's how it happens.
Crazy.
That's how it happens.
It felt like a Ferrari.
That's exactly.
It wasn't.
what you've just said is exactly my first VTEC experience as well, but in a slightly different manner. I think I might have mentioned it before. Maybe it was on Officially Gas podcast. I can't remember if it was on here. I definitely have mentioned this, but like the thing that made me love Honda was I always liked Honda because my dad used to take me to the dealership all the time because he had some fleet cars with Honda and that. And one of the boss man there was like on my work experience, because I've got work experience there. At the end of it, he was like, come on, I'll take you out an S2000. You've ever been in one? And I was like, no. Put me in an S2000 at 15-year-old, mate. Fucking VTEC. And I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? I was like, this is the fucking best thing I've ever experienced in my life. I went home and I told my dad at the time, I think he had a CLK 430, you know, like the V8 430 CLK. I was like, you need to sell that and buy an S2000 because that is like a Formula One car. I was like, they're like a Ferrari. It's ridiculous. And like, that was what sold me on it. And I was like, yeah, I'm having a VTEC car when I grow up. You know, that is like in my head. And I think the 3 months that I didn't have a VTEC car, also I was like, how have I not got a VTEC car right now? This shouldn't be legal. Like,
literally, like when you realize you love it, it's like the scene from Clint Eastwood when like the screen goes all small. It goes, wow,
yeah.
wow. You're like, I must want to get VTEC punk. Literally, that's what happened to me. Literally, it was like me doing this, Hawkins doing this, and then the copper that was probably watching us in the lay-by doing this. Like literally, proper dodgy alternatives. Honestly,
I love it, man. I think that's probably everyone's VTEC story. Everyone has that same go. It's like, yeah, I didn't think much of it until I had a go in one, like, or got took out in one when I was a kid, and then all of a sudden that was all I could think about. Like, because it's just how do I get that? How do I get that rush of adrenaline again? That was just so hilarious. Like, and even now, like, me and you went around Snetterton in your car because I did a video for those that haven't seen on Sam's EP3 around
it
Snetterton.
Sheds rate as it goes round.
Yeah, but I think the main thing people will take from that is that from start to finish, we're having a laugh. Does that make sense? Like, your car is a serious car. My Honda is a serious build. Like, when you look at what the money has been spent and the spec and the parts, but if you put me and you with a camera, if you put me and you with a camera, you're like, oh yeah, I bought this because, you know, it's funny, like, or this thing because it makes it louder, and or this changes VTEC a little bit and I wanted it to kick in, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you get in it and you're going around and you're like, like, literally, it's just it, innit? And then you get out and you're like, yeah, that was sick, mate. Thank you. And then it's just like that fun. I don't think it'll ever go, ever. I think I could be.
Oh, it's brilliant.
If I'm lucky enough to make it to 60-year-old or 70-year-old or whatever, I think like I'd keep my little Civic in the backyard and give it to my grandson and be like, right, take me around that racetrack again. I want to go around, and I'd still giggle. Or I'd be driving it around giggling still, being like, hey, grandkids, this is what's actually good. None of that electric car crap. Like, just everything.
If you don't step out of a car and you've lost 2 years of your life and about 10 decibels of your hearing, you've not done it right, pretty much. Like, you're not in a proper car. You got out of one of them little cars you get from McDonald's that you wind up and go.
Yeah.
If your arsehole hasn't like nipped up like a rabbit's nose and twitched like that, then you haven't had a good car. So if it don't do that, you got the wrong car.
Brilliant. So is that your only car that you have?
I'm afraid so. Yeah, I share the wife's car. She's got a gangster car that is so funny. She gets chatted up by all the young boys in it, which is absolutely crazy. She's got a Ford Fiesta Titanium. I bet. Yeah, isn't that right, Chris? You got a Ford Fiesta Titanium with gangster BBS wheels, and every time she drives it, they're always like, "Oh, I love your wheels. They're well nice, isn't it?" And she's all like, because she's so tiny, she's like, "Oh, thanks." They're like, "Oh my god, there's a fit girl driving it." They're like, proper like.
Be in the group chat, be like, who's the bird in the Fiesta, mate? Who's the bird in the Fiesta?
Painting in the Fezzer.
So you are also a part of a group, a collective as such. So do you want to talk about them for a little bit? Because I really like you guys as a collective as well. I kind of have added myself as your like Essex member. If anything, I'm just kind of going, I'm being a part of this, boys, so I'm here. So.
Yeah, we recruit. I mean, like, initiation's pretty bad. I mean, no one should have to kill someone to get into a gang, but it's the thing you got to do, innit? Like, for the benefit of tape, he didn't kill anybody that anyone would like. Don't worry. But now we part of a group called Hlife that was actually started and founded by a guy called Josh Reed, who lives local to me. So I don't want to give away my exact location because I'm a paranoid mess, but I live near the outskirts of Lowestoft. So just on the border of Norfolk and Suffolk, like I'm on the dirty border.
Man, I'm on the Essex Suffolk border myself. Like I'm on the Essex side of it, but I'm on
everyone's like, choose a side.
Yeah, I'm the Essex side then. I'm the live over this side where we don't all drive tractors. Thanks.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. And he's on him and his friends are on the outskirts of Norwich. So basically, in 2012 when I started getting all serious after I'd done my first ever trip. I did my first ever track day in my car in the Nürburgring. Well, that's another story. That was
we'll get to that later.
Like, why would you do that as your first track day? It was so stupid, but I survived. Hey, I'm here. And then when I came back, I was like, right, I want to make the car serious. And the guy that I went Nürburgring with was an older guy than me. He was actually my age at the time when I was 22. And he basically just said, like, these are the mods you should get to try and improve your car, make it better for handling, etc. So I started going on on eBay for secondhand parts, admittedly, because I was a 22-year-old lad. Money wasn't coming out of my ears, so I was getting bits secondhand. I wasn't buying RRP retail price for stuff. You know what I mean? Like I was just buying what I could afford.
But back in the day as well, that was what we all did because forums were so close knit, and everyone would just be like, "Hey guys, I'm breaking my car, putting it back to standard." So I've got these like. What was the coilovers? D2 coilovers and stuff like that. That were like what the hot shit back then. Yeah. And it was like, I've got these D2 coilovers and LCAs. I only want 350 quid for them. You'd be like, well, I'll buy them for my car. Do you know what I mean? Because that was what everyone's cars were just built off of each other's cars. Like,
everybody was a vulture.
Yeah. Massive.
It'd be like you crash your car back then. They joke about like you'll buy bits of it, but that was a genuine thing. Like, oh, I'm sorry about your DC5. Yo, who's got the exhaust?
Yeah. What's going on with the wheels? Like, what's happening? Like, bro, the guy's just rolled his car. Just let him grieve. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, when he does want to sell them, I'll have them off him. I thought it'd make the grief easier. Like, mate, calm down. Like, it literally used to be like that. I remember. That's good time. So you were saying, you buy the secondhand parts on eBay and that.
Yeah, and then I looked on some of the forums, and then this guy come from Norwich, and I was like, holy shit, local to me, like literally half an hour away, like perfect. And he was selling what I wanted at the time, a Buddy Club Spec 3 exhaust system. So I was like, oh my God, I want a JDM, can, because I think I'm cool as what, having one of them. And I met up with him and he said like, oh, meet me at my house. And, you can just give me cash on collection. So I was like, sweet, okay. So I drove down to there and, I went there and his family's got, at the time, I hope you won't mind me saying this, they had a nice house, man. They had a nice house, like big gaff. And it was just like, the Norfolk answer to the Fast and Furious. Honestly, all the boys were there, literally all of them, and they all had Mint motors. They weren't one shitter. Like I have
to interrupt because Alex is part of Hlife, and I remember from Civic Life. I might have even mentioned this before. I think I did mention this before. Alex, when we were like 19. Had the sickest cars ever because he worked for an insurance company. Like he had like an R33 GTR at like, was he 19 or 20? Yeah, and I remember messaging him on Civic Life going, all right, tell me how you've got that insured. Like, I was like, you lay it out to me right now because I can afford one of those cars because I had a decent job when I was 18, 19. I was earning really good money for someone that lives at home with mum and dad. I could not afford to insure anything better than a Civic FN1, like a 1.8. That was the highest car I could get. But was he there in something?
Of course he was.
What was he in? Of course
he was. They were. Oh, what was Wilson? I'm trying to remember now what he had. He had a DC5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he had a pre-face of DC5, and it was mint as whatever.
They always are with him.
Mate, literally, like you would eat your dinner off it. It was so nice. Sick. Josh Reed had a Milano Red EP3, which was not Milano Pink, which first of all is like, wow, well done. It's not pink, it's red.
Yeah.
So that was accomplishment. His friend Charlie Lancaster had a Milano Red EP, but he'd gone the route I wanted to go for the future. He'd had it all stripped out with like these genuine spoon carbon racing seats, which were just ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah.
If you sat in them, which I did for 10 minutes, you then needed to get back surgery done to yourself because awful seats.
Horrible. The worst seat I've ever had.
If they had put Bin Laden in that chair for 10 minutes, they would have got all the answers to Al Qaeda within moments. He would have Get me out. I'll tell you anything. Get me out.
Horrible. Well, I mean, they look super dope. They look amazing,
Oh.
but to ride in a car, it's not like something you want to be doing long journeys in my opinion. But I am old now.
Oh no, I was young then, and I felt like I had like a bad. I thought I needed to get like a hernia after that thing. Honestly, it's like terrible. But yeah, it looked cool as fuck. You know.
Yeah, it looked fucking amazing, and they're spoons. So it's like, what a ball of flex. Like, yeah, I spent fucking $2,500. It's probably been, how much were they back then? 1,500 quid each, maybe. I've spent $3,000 on seats that are uncomfy. That's how loaded I am. That's how baller I am. I spent $3,000 on some seats I don't even like.
Yeah, that's what my brides are like that. They look great, but then like when I go like we do the ring, like for 2 hours they're fine, but then when I go to the ring, it's 8 hours, 6 hour drive. You're like, yeah, this was a really bad decision. this was I basically made myself smaller. I've now made my posture that bad.
Yeah.
Literally.
So who else was there? Was that all of them that was there, or
no? Dan Reed was there as well, and
he's always had fucking immaculate cars as well.
Dan Reed, what did Dan Reed have? He didn't have a DC5 as well, did he?
He might have done.
I think he did. Yes, he did. He had because him and Wilson had like similar DC5s. I used to always go, oh, DC5 friends. But they looked cool as fuck. Like, them two rolling together were like, they were like that twist and pulse of the Honda world at the time. And they had that. Yeah, who else was there? There was a lot of guys. I don't want to name them all, boy, but there was a lot of guys there. So I was all like, looking around like in absolute awe about it. And you're going to laugh at this, going to think this is really, really gay. But I was just in awe about how nice they were. Like they were all so nice. Yeah. Like I thought they were going to be like they were all good looking chaps. A little bit homo, maybe me saying that, but they were all good looking chaps. All cool dress sense, like cool clothes on, like nice crepes on, like nice cars, nice. I thought, wow, these guys seem too good to be true. I was like, I bet they're the kind of guys you walk away and they probably slag you off, but they were just so nice. And then when I got home, Josh texted me and just said, just so you know, bro, it was fun meeting you. Ever need anything, any questions, you give me a text. So I was like, sweet, to save his number in it. Asked for him if he knew anyone that could fit exhaust for me, because I actually didn't realize how difficult it was to fit an aftermarket exhaust if you don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. And he recommended one of his guys from the Hlife group. I don't know if you've seen him in the group chat, guy called Renault.
Maybe.
That's his name. Yeah. So anyway, he at the time worked at I forget the name of it now, like a small garage, and he's just like, yeah, I'll weld it up and fit it all in for 20 quid. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'll fit it all for 20 quid. I was like, what? If they'll do all the gaskets, everything. I was like, wow, how come? He's like, oh, you know, Josh. I was like, wow, sweet. All right then. And then from there on, I was doing some like twat laps with this Renault guy, and then he asked, Jay and all that, like Josh and Dan Reed and Nathan Reed to come out, and everyone joined up. And then, long story short, they started inviting me out for the nights out in Norwich. We'd go out out there, we'd go out in the cars, and before you knew it, they accepted me in. When they found out, that was it. My big pinnacle moment was, I don't know if I'm going off a tangent here.
No.
We went to JE. When it was at Peterborough, like in my eyes, the original JE.
That was sick.
Wickstead Park, was it?
Wickstead Park, yeah. Wickstead Park.
It had the crazy speed bumps. So my memory of Wickstead Park and the speed bumps is what's his name? Was it? I think I got his name wrong. Fison.
Peter Fison. Yeah. Fison.
So he had a beard better than mine, and there was this massive speed bump, like a humpback whale speed bump, and he had this DC2, the UK spec, slammed on like I don't know what they were actually.
I took photos of it. Yeah, CCW wheels, yeah.
And he couldn't get it over the bump, and he had everyone there with
hang on.
planks of wood.
Are they image wheels? I think they were image wheels. Carry on talking. I'll have a look. Sorry, let me have a look.
Our technical team's going to do some research just while we carry on.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to go over this bump, and I was creasing with him, like saying like, "Oh man, did he help?"
CCW.
People lift up the back bumper. Was it that?
CCW, yeah.
And it was like one of them cars where, like, if you described it, you'd be like, as a loyal JDM boy, you'd be like, "Oh, this doesn't sound nice."
Yeah,
at all.
no
When you
spoiler.
it looked nuts. Yeah, clean white, clean arches, no spoiler. It looked so just naughty, cool. Absolutely naughty.
He was really into his American Honda stuff. Like he was very USDM. Yeah. It was very
USDM all over.
Yeah, it was. I'm looking at the photos now that I took of it, mate. It was a cool car. Like it was a cool car back then. I miss days like this. When I'm looking through it, it makes me a little bit sad because I'm like, it's just not the same anymore. But
yeah. Oh man. So then we rolled up, we got there, all of us with all our cars, literally like crowd pleasers. When we all rolled in, it looked so cool. Like literally all my head, what I heard was the Fast and Furious Tokyo song in my head when we're rolling up. I run it if you know.
Yeah.
That's how cool I felt rolling in. And obviously I was with those boys. And we got in, and then there was another group who was next to us called FYC, and they were a car group from Thetford, and there was a little bit of like friendly banter, a bit of beef. Yeah, it was a bit like gang warfare. And it was awkward because I knew a few of the guys from it, and they were all like, "Yo, son," I'm like, "Yo, oh wait, you're rolling with Hlife," and it was like that episode of South Park, Randy Marsh. He's like, "Oh hey, fuck you."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh wait, I didn't know I was picking sides." And the guy called Scott, literally, I just wanted to join the party. I didn't want to pick sides.
Fuck's sake, man. That's
literally. And so I was like, "Fuck, I've picked sides." And then because everyone was like pretty boys, there was an American girl who I'm really friendly with, called Krista.
I remember Krista.
She had a black DC2 with TE37 purple Volks. Baller.
I remember. Wow, I haven't heard her name in ages. Is she still around? Like, what's she?
Yeah, she's still around. She's still kicking it. She's a great girl, man. Like, what are your opinions of her? Because she's very like me in the sense of will tell you how it is. Not rude, but just says it because she's American and then they don't get dry sense of humor as well as what we do. It sounds like she's been like just a horrible person, but she just says it as it is. And she was cool as fuck. But when she found out I was with those guys, she started winding us up saying, "Oh, hey, it's the Guyliner crew," because obviously they thought we wore eyeliner. Some of the guys wore eyeliner, not me. Like I didn't, for the benefit of tape, I didn't wear eyeliner.
Just for everyone that doesn't know these boys, obviously I know them all quite well. Like they are all quite pretty looking men. They are all. Oh, they keep themselves all very well. They're all dressed very smart. They hold themselves in good. They make me look like a right fat bald mess. But
if I had to, I would put them down like a sick dog. How beautiful they are, honestly.
But I have to also say as well, I met them lot a long time ago as well. We're talking like Honda Diaries episode 3, Nate. Was when I already knew you guys because you guys must have been coming to my meets, or I can't remember how we first met. I know I always spoke to Alex on the forums. Like I'd always got on really well with Alex. Like out of all of them, Alex was the one I've definitely known the longest.
Yeah, Alex, my boy.
Yeah. So, what was Krista's surname? I'm trying to remember what her surname was.
Briscoe.
Krista Briscoe.
Literally, all the thirsty guys listen to this podcast like, "Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna search her."
I can hear the first in the chat right now.
I'm gonna try and just see if I can find it. I literally haven't heard that name in so long. Is it
she don't do nothing with the car. Nah, Krista. That's my wife, man, Crystal.
No, it's Chris. How crazy!
Krista,
no, it's just you haven't heard a name for so long, and it's like,
and she was a photographer as well, and she was really good at it as well.
Yeah,
like, so she was able. That was her. Days. Yeah, she was really good. She would like, yeah. I remember. I tell you what, I've gone off a tangent again, man.
No, do it. This is perfect.
Do you remember when Mims used to be the original Mims at Mims Services, right? Mm-hmm. And I befriended her fellow, Rob Boast, who was her boyfriend at the time.
Rob Boast! I haven't heard of his name in forever either. Oh, this is like throwback central right now.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Literally. But you know me, I'm like you. I'm an original OG. I've been doing this when like the kids were like picking burgers at their face and nose, everything. So like I know all the. It's just because they've all grown up and moved on, most of them. I'm still a kid. I've probably got a mental disorder or something. I probably still think I'm 21. But yeah, no. Yeah, so I befriended Rob Boast, and he was like, really cool with me. And when obviously Krista like vouched for me that I wasn't trying to get in her pants, because that's what every guy who tried to befriend Rob was doing. Like,
of course,
was trying to like
girl in the car scene. It's like,
yeah, a pretty girl in the car scene, and she was nice. And when he was all cool with me about it, I wrote to Mims. This was in 20. I want to say, let's say 2013, I want to say, because the car was still pretty, back then I thought it looked cool as fuck. I look back and think, oh, Sam, that was ugly as fuck, the EP. Yeah, so I rolled up, and when you go to the side of the Mims services, you can enter, it's like that double lane bit, and you can turn left towards like KFC, or you go right up to like a little mini hill into like where the lorries all parked. That's where like if your car was in there, it was like the the sacred one. And that's where I used to see, that's where I met you actually. First time I met you.
Was that Mims, it? Is that properly. Where we met at Mims, was it?
That's where I properly chatted to you. Yeah, properly chatted to you, and yet you spent time to talk to me. But I'll stroke your ego later about that. No, you're actually, you could chat with me, But yeah, so, and what was cool about it was Krista went, hey Dav, because she's American and that's how she sounded, but obviously hotter. She's like, hey Dav, come over here. And Dav was like, all right, Krista, what's going on? And she's like, you got to get Sam in there. And he was like, what car has he got? The car is in there. And he was like, this is it, is it? And I was like, oh wow, God.
Savage.
Like, that's what you just said in front of me. And she's like, Sam's my guy, man. Let him in. He can park next to us. He was like, he's with you? And she's like, yeah, he's with us. And then Rob was like, yeah, let him in, Dad. He's sound. So I was like, sweet. So I got in, and everyone was looking at me like, how the fuck did that car get the fuck in here? And yeah, I parked up next to him, and I felt like $1 million. It sounds really silly, but like to be in there, your car, your build, being in there was like a real prestigious thing. So it felt great. And then that's where I bumped into you properly. And yeah, we just chatted, and that rest was history, really.
Yeah, man. Like back in the day, like back then, I was a real busy fuck. Like, but proper. Like, I like now, I could go to a car meet and I'd be able to chill. Like, I could chill. I'd probably be doing my YouTube. I'd probably still be getting my photos because that's just natural.
You were doing your blogs back then as well, though.
The blog was massive back then as well. It was really popular. Like considering what it realistically was, it was very, very. That was out of everything I've ever done, that has been my most successful thing. The blog. When that was popping, that was the most reach I've ever got on anything. Even with my YouTube channel, it's like my YouTube has got 14 million views nearly across the whole channel. But like that wasn't a touch on my blog. My blog was reaching like real proper. It was fun. You know, that was when it was really fun. Like,
yeah, I used to read it, man. I used to religiously read it.
Yeah, and I'd be very consistent with it, and I think that always helps as long as you're doing something consistently. But yeah, I met the Hlife guys. I always spoke to Alex. I remember I always used to be really friendly with Alex. There was always like a few people on them forums that I just clicked with, you know? And there was never any like animosity or negativity. It was all support and love, like between a few of us, like back in the early days.
100%.
And I'd say the same thing for Lance Chilton from Smoke Hose. You know, Lance from Smoke Hose. Me and him clicked. You know, on that first DMs, and we were like, all right, that guy's my friend on here. So I vibe with him.
Oh, man. I remember when Lance approached me and they inducted me in the Smoke Hose Hall of Fame. Yeah. That was a moment, man. That was crazy. That was like, sounds so cheesy. That was like you're going to laugh at me. That was like my little goal that was of life to be. Yeah, sick. I used to say, one day I'll have a car like the Smoke Hose boys.
Yeah.
And I used to look at James Charlton, obviously Lance's older brother, and be like, that's how I want my EP to be. Obviously, I'll never have it to the extent of that power, but insane. The crazy Toda.
ITB.
Yeah, man, that thing was crazy.
300 break in, eh?
Yeah, mate,
we're talking like 10 years ago as well. That shit did not happen. Like that. Now it's like every YouTuber and their dog can do that. But back then it did not happen. And let's just also big up props to Lance. B18C and an EP2. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? That's so insane. I actually bought that engine. Just to let you know.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I remember you saying that. And what annoys me was Lance got a lot of unnecessary hate for that because that was a unique build. And people were like, that's weird. Why would you do that? It's like, because why would you not? It was never done. And it was so unique. EP2, the B18, like, you know, everyone's doing the sheep thing, but they're just doing the K20, you know, they're dropping the K20s in there, which is cool. Like, obviously, I've got one, so I'm a full endorsement of the K20. But that was unique and that was cool. And like, I just think people forgot.
That's
that
how
is
me
such
and him
a wicked thing.
That's how me and him got chatting, because on epcivic.com, we're going back some years now.
Throwing it back.
Yeah. He was getting so much hate on there, and I remember just messaging him and it was like, I know we haven't spoken before, dude, but I love the idea of what you're doing. I can't wait to see it happen. Let's fucking show these dickheads wrong. And he was like, mate, appreciate that. And just we got on so well after that. Like, you know, I think if you're one of the younger guys or girls listening to this, and you're like, especially in this lockdown, feeling a bit lonely, you know, maybe if you haven't got a car clique, if you haven't got a group of car friends that you really want, the best thing to do is genuinely find a group of cars that you like even if they haven't got massive following, just find people that you enjoy their content, or find that, their cars they enjoy. You're probably better off going for somebody with a lower following, so that you're more than likely to get a reply. But just drop them a message and be like, man, I love the wheels on your car. It just works so well. Because 90% of the time, someone's going to reply and be like, thank you. Because obviously it's nice to be complimented on your build. So that's how conversation can start. And that's how I probably met you. I can't even remember our first meeting, dude, because I've fucking known you for so long now. Can you remember the first time we met?
I remember it,
the
mate.
first time.
Yeah, I remember.
And was that at Mims, or was it at one of the other meets?
That was at Mims. That was the big Mims. That's where all the big boys used to meet up. That was the big meet. If you were there, you were somebody. You had a build, or you were aspiring for a build. And you were there, and you were snapping away. And and you asked about my car, because my car had, where it was in the process of getting up to the stage it is now, the carbon wings. And you went, yo, who's this with the carbon wings? And I was like, all proud. Like, I was like, that's me.
Yeah.
And you were like, where'd you get them from? And I was like, well, it's a funny story you should say. I'm actually in negotiations with a guy who makes these in China, and he's shipping them over to me, and I'm selling them for like a pretty decent price, but also profit for me. And you're like, really? I might have to hit you up with that later. And I was like, yeah, only thing I can get in a minute though is DC5 boots and bonnets, EP3 boots and bonnets and wings, and EK9 boots and bonnets. I ain't got nothing for the EG yet. And you like, so you get anything for the EG, hit me up. And I remember saying to him, like, I need to get EG bits. And man, to this day, I never got anything.
Really?
Like, I think I would have had like a platinum grill right now. The amount of EG parts I could have sold, honestly, like the demand for it was still better than ever. But yeah, we started talking about my car, and like, to be fair, you haven't got to say anything, so please don't say anything. But you probably thinking this car is so fucking shit. But you're like, yeah, man, I like what you're doing with it. It's cool.
The thing is, sorry, carry on. Finish what you're saying. And then
no. I was just saying. I was saying, and I bumped back into you late end of the day and caught up with you, and you were selling your merchandise, and I didn't realise who you were.
Was that out of the boot of the Civic in the rain? Was it that one?
Yeah, in the rain. Yeah, you remember that? And I was with CJ. And CJ's like, you do know who you're chatting to, didn't you? Like, about, I don't mean a piss take away. And I was like, what? Yeah. As if like you were someone famous. He's like, that's Adam Ivor, 61. I went, oh, is that the guy? And he went, yeah. And I went, oh, right. He's well, all right, isn't he? And he went, what do you mean? I was like, well, normally people that like have that kind of like, because let's be honest, like stroking your ego now. I told you I'd do it, didn't I?
Please do. No one does anymore. No, come on, bring it in.
Bring it all in. Yeah. I'm going to give you 2 strokes. Literally. And I was like, yeah, well, normally people that have that kind of following and that kind of like influence on people's opinions on blogs are usually arseholes. Let's be honest, they are. They usually think they're better than anybody else, and they're arseholes. And either he's two-faced as fuck, or he's just a cool guy to talk to, and he is what you get with him. And I like that. And I thought that was really cool. And then like I met you at a few other shows, and we chatted more, and it's like the rapport started building up. It was like, when like The Sims, you have friends and you have to build the friendship bar up. Ours was growing more and more every time we met. And it wasn't hard work to talk to you. That's what I liked about it.
I think going back to what you said about like, you're like, oh, you don't have to say anything when I'm looking around your car. I always look at every single car individually. So like what fucks me off the most is when people message me going, oh, I've got an EG, but you probably won't care. Or like, it's nothing like yours. I'm like, mate, it's taken me 8 years having the job I have, earning the money I have, getting the discounts I can get on all these lovely parts I'm lucky enough to have. It took me 8 fucking years to get to this. So when people go to me, oh, well, I've only had it for 3 months, but it's nowhere near as good as yours. I'm like, all right, well, it's not competition. I just build cars because it's fun. So like, I try and always
counteract that. No, sorry to cut you off. No, to counteract that. Social media has done that though. That's the problem. So social media is a unbelievable tool that can really expose you in such unique and prosperous ways that can reach you and connect you to people that you'd never imagine you'd ever speak to. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword because it has got such a toxic side to the blade that can just belittle people. It takes them so long to build themselves up, they can knock them down so quickly. And people feel that when they see these guys do these builds who have done and this is not me hating, on a finance or a credit card, and they've got a great standard, and then there's these other guys who either got bad credit or don't want to put it on credit, which is fine. They feel like their bill is not worthy because they're not to that level. But if you strip it right back down to what their predicament is, what their financial situation is, we don't do it for the praise. And if you do it for the praise, you're in the game for the wrong reason, in my opinion. It should be It should be for what you want to do, what makes you happy. And if people like what you're doing because that's naturally what you like and they like that, that's a shared interest. And that's what the car community should be, a shared interest. It shouldn't be well, those are reps. Oh, well, those are
You can't roll with us,
genuine.
yeah. You can't roll with us because
Like,
you're not running real wheels. It's like, hang on a fucking minute, mate.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be like saying to me, like, I wouldn't going to say, oh, I'm endorsing reps over genuines. I'm not saying genuines are better than reps in the sense of like a snobby way. It's just obviously they have their benefits each way, but people can only afford what they afford. It doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. Just because some guy's got a lot of gypsy glitter underneath his car with the D2 lowering arms and control arms and, the Beaks bar, and you're like, oh, it's really chabby. It's like, yeah, but for him, he thinks that's cool. And if you don't think it's cool, well, evidently, because I look at your car, you haven't got it. If it was that cool, you'd have it.
Yeah.
So just because you haven't got it doesn't mean that guy who's got it is bad. And just think about what you're saying, because you may not realize this, but some of these older guys who have these good builds, when one of these younger guys come up to you and ask you a question, and you're very short with them or don't really want to respond, that really knocks the guys back. Because it sounds a bit cheesy, but like these younger boys, they might not want to admit, they might think, oh, Sam, you're flattening yourself now. But these younger boys think when you communicate with them, they think, wow, that guy is really cool. Like, I'm all for him.
That guy that messaged me about my story and you said to me, hey, like, put him in touch with us. I accepted his message because obviously it goes in like a hidden folder for me. And I was like, I accepted his message and I was like, you're right, dude. Me and my friend Sam have been talking and he saw my post. Like I want to put you in touch with him basically, like, because he wants, know you're welcome. I said, like, I hate to sound like, but mate, I'm so fucking busy 90% of the day. Like, and then the 10% I do get, these fucking things, I just try and put them down. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I might be doing a social media thing to try and get some interaction or whatever, but then it goes down and I play games or I go watch TV or I watch a football match or something like that. So because I spend all day on these fucking things. Do you know what I mean? I spend all day on Facebook talking to people about their cars and all that. It gets a bit like, but then
you got to cleanse yourself away from it.
Yeah, because otherwise it would just drive me insane. So I said, like, look, I want to put you in touch with Sam. He's part of the Hlife guys. And I said, I will be there with them at events because I class you guys as my car club. Like, I'm like, yeah, well, I go with the Hlife guys, like if you guys were going to a show, I'd be like, I want my car on their stand because, well, for one, all the cars are fucking sick and all the guys have equally as good personalities as their builds are. Whereas you'll get a lot of people in this industry where, because Instagram is the new forum, Facebook is the new forum, and likes and follows equals monetary gain for whoever has it, it's become an individual's thing instead of back in the day where we'd go as Civic Life or Hlife to an event and they'd be like, yeah, I'm here with Hlife. I'm here with Civic Life. I'm here with Street Legal. And that was my stat. It wasn't about my car being the main thing that people are looking at. It was like, my car is part of this slice of cake. And our whole cars make that bit of cake. And you want your banners up, you want your flags up, you want everyone to know we are this brand today, And obviously I guess I'm a little bit guilty because I ended up having 621 stands that would just be my booth with a couple of cars on, but that was all you could get for a trade stand. And you'd be paying like anywhere from like £500 to £1,500 for a trade pitch. Do you know what I mean? And that was like, right, these are the things. And then when it went from being my hobby to my job, I think that's where I lost a bit of the enjoyment out of it because I didn't get to come and get drunk with all my friends or smoke a bit of weed with all the boys, or I'd have to be like,
JE, man, that naughty 10. We were in that naughty 10. literally, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Like, all just being naughty and letting your hair down when I had it, like, just go be a fucking
having
nutter.
fun with it.
And it was all about just going to the show, parking your car up, forgetting about it, getting drunk, and then the next day you'd wake up, you speed detail it all off and make sure you got your wheel shine on and be like, right, cool, I'll see if some pictures get taken today and be on the forum later. And then you walk around with your mates, and it was like, it's so different now because now like people like message me, like when I say like, who do you want on the podcast? Like, I want interesting people or people that have got a sick story to tell, or but they'll just message me like this guy that pays for sponsored posts on every single post. So he's got 5,000 likes per picture, and he's got like but I call them like bougie ass cars because they're not really that good. They're not worth that amount of praise that they're getting, but because they pay for it, that makes them look famous. And I'm like, well, I'm not fucking gifting that guy any more fucking attention. I know my podcast is tiny, but like, if I want to bring attention to them, I'm going to say like, why do you sponsor every post on your personal profile? Like, what are you gaining out of this? Do you know what I mean? Like, that'd be the sort of thing I'd be like, where's the the fucking camaraderie and like fucking being down your unit or one of you. I know we can't really do it at the moment because of Corona, but where's the fucking fun in like texting your mates being like, yo, I've got all these parts I need to fit to the car this weekend. Do you want to come and help me? We can get these coilovers on in an hour if you all take a side each. Do you know what I mean? Like, or 15 minutes. We all take a side each. We'll get done in 15 minutes. And then someone snaps a fucking bolt, and then you're spending 3 hours looking for a bolt.
That'd be me. I'd be that twat. That'd be me.
I am that guy. I know that. It's me. Or you lose a fucking tool, or you lose the keys, or like all of that stuff. I feel so many people miss out on. And I don't even mean you have to be in a unit. Like, we've done this on driveways. The amount of hours I've spent on Peter Ward's driveway dicking around with cars. Like it's so that was what built us all up as friends. And
what's sad is some guys don't get that opportunity, and girls don't get that opportunity because of various reasons. Like I say, back to that pedestal that everyone seems to put. Like, if your car's not worthy of getting the attention and lights, so you haven't got enough followers, then you're not going to really be looked at. And this is why I've always made a point when people message me, they always laugh because there's some guys that have messaged me in the past, and I always say, because I'm really bad at seeing message requests, so I'm a bit.
That's where I fail as well.
So I make sure I don't. So what I do is I put. It sounds a bit bad, but I put the people I don't know in the general folder. I mean, I put people like you, my friends, like close friends that aren't car people in my I forget what it's called.
The inbox,
the primary one, isn't it?
Primary. Let me have a quick look.
And the general I was checking, I read through, and some of them have been sent like 2-3 weeks ago, even a month ago. And the first thing I always start, I'm really sorry for late reply. Just generally haven't seen it, and then I'll answer the question, whatever it is. And I get so many of the people write back to me and say, "Oh, thank you so much for responding back," and they sort of joke and put like a laughing emoji, like, "Oh, no worries about taking your time with it." And I'm just like, yeah, but I don't want you ever thinking I feel I'm too good to respond back to you, or I deliberately wait because it's a cool enough time to wait to respond back to you. Like, if you caught me on the cuff when I saw it, I'll respond back to you straight away. But the thing is, I'll always get back to you, and I always feel like if you can make that small effort to be nice to somebody, it goes a long way. I've been lucky that I've been able to socially get along with people, and I'd hate to feel like I could never have the confidence to speak to somebody, and that must be horrible for people with this anxiety that they have. Because I'll never understand it, because I haven't had anxiety, but there's a lot of people that suffer with that, especially with the mental health. I don't want to get into that because it's another conversation for people, and it's a bit of a dark one as well. But people, it was a little bit of praise, a little bit of just small chit chat can really mean the world to someone. And this lad that you mentioned, I won't mention his name because it's not my place to say, nor would he want to have anyone know, I'm sure. And he said to me he had anxiety. He was really nervous about meeting people. Where he lived was very out the way. He wasn't close to any clicks. I just said, look, it's a long way to go, I know, but I always post stuff when I go to track days on my timeline. If you see something which you will see in advance, me booking in Snetterton, and you want to come down, you can come down that day. Of course you can anyway, but you come down that day, message me, and I will make sure that I make the effort to say hello to you. I introduce you to the Hlife guys or any of my friends. I'm not going to lie to you. I won't be chilling with you all day, but I'll happily, shake your hand. If I've got time, I'll take you around. That's a bit of a push, to be honest, but if I can, I will. But the minimum I'll do is I'll say hello to you and I will talk to you, because
get you involved.
Who am I to say that I haven't got time for somebody? I am nobody. We are all level playing field here. And he said to me, that's what he said, that meant so much to have. He said this in Wordsworth, someone like yourself, he said, to come back and say that to me. And I was like, mate, I'm not someone like myself. I'm just me. And you are just you. We just need to understand it's all about just, honestly, it's not effort to be nice. It really isn't. And anyone that makes the effort to be horrible, I'm sorry, bro, but you're in a bad place, man, if you got to speak like that.
So
you got some issues.
Yeah, I had my humbling experience when I was over in New Jersey for Honda Day or H Day, whatever it's called now. I don't know.
I'd love to do that. Yeah.
So I went over there and I took for granted how much money I thought I'd have. And obviously, I didn't want to go to the bank and get any more out there because I didn't have much at the time. Do you know what I mean? It was like, okay, I'm really stretching myself to be here. I don't want to ask my parents for money because I'm like 22 or something at the time. I was like, I don't really want to be begging my mom and dad to send me 100 quid so I can have dinner tonight. And I was thinking, fuck, like, I don't really know what I'm going to do. And I had there's a group of guys in America, I'm sure they're still all going, called the Maserati mob. It means like rare in Japanese, and they all had these ridiculous fucking cool cars, man. Like, they were all like super stanced out or super race, all genuine parts, like a load of them. And I met them at the show, and one of the guys basically said, I think his name's Victorino. I can't pronounce it how he spells it. I've always just called him Vic when I've met him, but like
What a belt of a name.
Yeah. Sick name.
Vitorino.
Proper New York. Do you know what I mean? Like I love it. And New York Italian, is how it
Forget
sounds.
about
to me.
it.
Like they're all such lovely, lovely gentlemen though. And I think he might be Puerto Rican. I can't remember. I haven't seen these guys for ages. You know what I mean? So I'm just going off of my memory. But they were really, really, really lovely dudes. And they basically came to my hotel because I'd met them at the show, and I was like, I'd like to get some photos of your car for the blog, because I thought, like, fuck me, I've got like 12 cars here. I'll have content for the next 3 months. That was what was going through my head. It was the hardest work I've ever done in my life, mate. Like,
why?
12 full photo shoots in 4 hours. I had to do it.
Oh, for your time scale.
Yeah,
oh,
because
right,
they obviously we all had to check out the hotel. I had to check out the hotel and be off their premises and all this sort of stuff. And I had like 12 cars turn up. I think it was 12 cars or whatever. And like they've all turned up. And they basically said, "What are you doing now?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna." Oh no, because I had one more night in that hotel, but they had to get going, something like that. And I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna literally just edit the photos now. I think I can't actually afford to go and do anything." Like, it was literally like I've run out of money basically for the trip, and I don't really want to go into my bank because obviously we charge fees. I know it's not much, but I was like being penny pincher at the time. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't have much money at the time, so they literally went, "Okay," and I was like, oh, "All right." And he went around with his hat and he was like, "Put some money in for Adam." He was like, "He's been kind enough to gift us his photo shoot today, so we're returning the favor." Mate, they all gave me money. It must have been 190 odd pound, like they were $190. And I was like speechless, because I was like, no one's ever paid me for photos, like just saying thank you. And I was like, they were like, "We're not having you not be looked after here," because obviously I was paying for all the fuel in the car. That was what was costing me a lot of money going to New York and stuff. All right, boo-hoo, fucking first world problems, whatever. But like, at the end of the day, like, I'd spent all my money and I was like, fuck, like I go home tomorrow. I just need to see it out through today. And then I land in England tomorrow and I'm sound, like back in England and whatever.
And they appreciation is what it is.
They did a whip around, and he said something to me, and I will never, ever, ever forget it. Because he was like, if everybody could just do one act of kindness every single day for somebody, the world would be a better place.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy
100%.
Fuck. I was like, these guys didn't need to help me. I was more than happy to go sit in my room, maybe get a McDonald's for fucking $3, whatever I had left at the evening. You know, whatever. I was 22. I didn't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? But they gave me enough money for me to be like, holy fuck. And I made sure them photo shoots, I got all of their details. They're still on my blog now. Like, they're sick. It's fucking sick. Yeah. And I was like, I think I put so much effort in because I was like, wow, these guys. And I still try and live by that now. Like, if anywhere I can help someone, like in any way, I like feel like, look, you got to help them out. Like, I'm not too fucking big or popular. I don't consider myself big on anything anymore. I feel I've got a decent following on Instagram, and I occasionally have a photo that bangs, but I wouldn't say I was big on there, like compared to others.
But the thing with that is that I'm sure you know this. Of course, you know this is right. Like an eggs for you is it's not the quantity now; it's the quality of what you've got. Some of these guys, I'm not saying they do. I'm not saying they do. I'm not accusing anybody, but like, I know a few people not in the car world that do like photography, like wedding photography or just jet or modeling, you know, these girls who glamour modeling stuff. And some of those people I know for a fact have bought followers. Right. And people, and whatever, do your thing. But at the same time, it's people seem to think, right, you know, that photographer's got like 11.2K followers, but it's like, and you now assume they've got a good quality of work.
Yeah.
But the actual it sometimes, I mean, it's good work, but it ain't like 11.2 quality. But people get the perception that cloaking device goes over your eyes and you think, wow, actually they're really good because they've got 400 likes, they got 11.2 thousand followers, but they bought that. Whereas you see some people, whether it's cars, photography, modeling, home development pages, you know, whatever it may be, with like 3,000-4,000 followers, but I'll look and be like, wow, the content on this is like crazy. Excellent. This should be this is underrated. This is like what is it? Diamond in the dirt, they say. Diamond in the dirt hasn't been found. Like it needs to have the praise it should get. But when you speak to those kind of people, the reason they're at that is because one, they're not bothered about numbers, and two, they just say, I don't care about the numbers. It's just those ones that are engaged. As long as they're engaged, I'm happy. I'd rather have the attention, 100% attention from 5 people than 30% attention of 100 people. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's so true. And people get so fascinated with this whole, likes and numbers and followers. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it'd be sick as tits if I got so many followers that my Instagram says 10 point whatever. Like that'd be cool. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm kidding myself, but I know that people do follow me. A majority of them, minus just my personal friends and like my wife's friends, who are, obviously are friends of mine as well. I'd say probably 70% of the people on my following are generally just people that like the car and been following it since back in the days when it first got inducted to the Smoke Hose Gang, and when I first got with Hlife, and it just sort of spider web from there, really. And that's how it goes.
I think a lot of people like who operate stuff. I know a few YouTubers as well. I'm not going to name any names because I just can't be asked with the fucking grief that I'll get if I'm completely honest.
I don't need to.
But I know a few YouTubers that don't actually own the cars that they prance around in, and they borrow them off either rich friends or companies, or just give them the car and be like, "Yeah, we'll have it back in 6 months. Just don't drive it very much." Do you know what I mean? And they'll be like, "Here's my new," and it's like, how the fuck do you get that? You're not hitting the views to afford this sort of thing. And they're like, "Oh, it's one of my businesses is doing really well." I'm like, you don't do anything other than this. Like, what are you on about? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of faking it until you make it, and it's easy to do it on there. I mean, realistically, if I wanted to do it, I could borrow your car for 3 months. Do you know what I mean? And be like, "Hey, Sam, I know you're not going to do any track days. Let me just borrow it. I'm going to do 2 track days in it. I'll put a new set of tires on it for you. When I get it back, I'm going to say I own it." Do you know what I mean?
When do you want it?
Oh mate, fucking once that engine's in, saves me doing a K swap. I'm gonna be like, my new K24 EP3, baby.
I mean, that's a sick car. Oh wait, that's mine.
But yeah, I think I'm guilty of getting caught up in the numbers, especially with my YouTube channel. That's the one that drives me fucking insane. But I think that's purely because the YouTube channel feels like a job, and when you put effort in and you get a third of the views you're kind of used to, or like you expect, this video will do right, and you're like, oh, it flopped. Like, what did I do wrong? And then you're like, for me,
if you squeeze 3 oranges and get 1 glass of orange juice out, you're going to think, how on earth did I only get a glass out of 3 orange juice? I should have got it's demoralizing. You think, well, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, well, it fucks with your head as well, because I'm like, am I unpopular now? Do people just not like me? Like, what's going on? And the same thing with my Instagram story. My Instagram story used to go out to about 5,000 people every time. I could post a picture of my dog, my thumb, me, my bald head, and it'd go out to 5,000 people. But now I have days where it doesn't even hit 1,000. And I'm like, right, I haven't become that unpopular overnight. Like, there's not been anything that's happened from last week to now. And I think it's the websites know these pull on your emotional strings, and they're like, well, let's just take him away from him for a week. He might pay for an advert.
You know what I think it is? I think obviously the algorithms is one of them, of course, which I don't understand 100%, but I know a little bit because Josh Reed of the Hlife is his personal Instagram is really like big. He has like 20,000 followers. He's done really well. His is organic. He's done like all this, like he's grown that slowly. It's taken him years. And but that's just his thing. He does travel anyway. He's done really well with that. Point I'm making with this is, it's not because your content has, in my opinion, downgraded, gone to different flavor that no one likes. It's because the main issue, going back to social media, is saturation. There is so many now people doing similar to what you're doing, is now spreads the pie. When you have a pie with 8 slices and you're having 7 of them because you're the only guy that likes that pie, you're going to get more people are going to enjoy it because they get more of it. Now you've got 8 guys want 8 slices of the pie. You're going to see smaller bits. Your views are now subtracted because where, not in a bad way, where you only did Hondas, it's something like, I like what he does, I like his style, I like the way he is, but I'm not really a Honda man. I'm more of a German man. But for the meantime, this is like perfect for me.
Because it's like, something.
It was like a universal suit. It didn't really fit great. It weren't baggy, but it weren't skinny. It was just a regular fit suit. Now you can tailor make your taste to anything now, because there's guys doing like the V-dub scene. You got guys in the German. You got guys doing the supercar stuff. You got the guys doing the Kanjo racing stuff in Japan. You've got. I mean, I don't want to reel them off, but there's so many different types. And the problem is now, well, not the problem. This is the beauty of it. But the stumbling block you're going to come across, and anyone would come across, is you're not going to hit massive views because it's difficult to establish yourself, because you've only got one flavor, and I mean that in a nice way. Everybody's got one flavor, and not everyone likes the same taste. And when people try and mix too many flavors to make a mixed concoction of like, for example, like a girl, for example, would do like sexy stuff like OnlyFans, would do a sick car, but also would do really cool fashion stuff for the girls to follow the fellow girl. And you know, that's good. But the problem you've got with that is it's a split flavor. Whereas some car guys would be like, I don't really care about the newest Dolce & Gabbana bag that you bought or the
Just
new.
show me your titties.
Yeah, just show me the nipple.
Show me the titties.
Yeah, literally. And like they don't want to know what the new Balenciagas are. They want to know what the car is, because obviously they're mixing it up. The interest goes away a little bit. It's not a bad thing, but that's just what it is. It's just saturation. The same with music. Like you used to get discovered on YouTube. And that would not be a ticket, but that would be a good way of getting you further with it. Whereas now it's saturated.
You've transferred me and transitioned me straight into what I want to ask you about next. So, Sam, tell me about your spelling rapping, your career of being a rapper. Because this was way more serious than I ever realized. Like until like I went obviously spoke to you years ago about it, but like back before, people were like, oh yeah, he does a bit of rapping. I was kind of like, all right, doesn't everyone that's fucking wears a snapback?
It's a party
like,
trick.
Yeah. Like especially like growing up skateboarding, like because I don't know why, but like back where I grew up, like I grew up in like the Harwich area. So like that was where I spent a lot of my spare time. I didn't live there, but I spent a lot of time there at the skate park. And you'd have like, you had like Grebos, skaters, chavs, like, but we had a few people that would class themselves as chavs that would come up to the skate park and just chill with us and rap. And that was what they did. They'd be like rapping over like MC Skibbity beats and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And like, it was like all that type of thing. And so it was just kind of like, oh yeah, everyone kind of does rap that is a white boy that wears Adidas tracksuits. Do you know what I mean? Like that was kind of just kind of what I grew up on, but yours was a little bit more real. So please tell us about it, man. I'm really interested for this story.
Some people might think, oh my god, this guy is so cringe, meaning me, not you.
They think that about me organically, mate. You haven't got to worry.
There's two of us in the room now. Damn. So I mean, so do you want me to start from the beginning? I mean, what do you know? Or start from the beginning?
No. It doesn't matter what I know. I want you to start from the beginning. Tell me as if I've never had imagine if I've got virgin ears on this story.
Virgin ears. Okay, so I used to rap. We used to do hip hop rap, which was, if anyone wants to know, it's more like old school, like Gangsta, like Guru from Gangsta style, like Big L, like old school Jay-Z, Nas, like the hip hop beats. I didn't like English beats. Also, I was against English rap. I love English rap now. It's evolved a lot. Another conversation. But at the time, I used to love the style of American beats. So it used to complement my style. And I had a few people tell me, oh man, like, you're quite good at freestyling. I used to make things up on the spot and rap about it at college. And I don't know, because some guys to beatbox at college, and I used to do it, and they used to be like, wow, you can rap about anything. They'd be like, do a subject and rap about the subject. And I'd make it all rhyme, and I'd include the people who were around me, their names and what they did. And they'd be like, whoa, like, how'd you do that? And I used to have this thing where I could think of 2 sentences ahead of what I'm already rapping. So I'd be rapping about like you, I could be talking about the skateboard behind you in the video and about the color of that. I was able to do that and interlink it without having any stumbling blocks with it. So I then I went on holiday after I finished high school in 2006, and I met this American guy in Dominican Republic, and basically this we chilled and we became like best friends on holidays. You do like a little best friend romance. Oh, a little bromance. And long story short, the club in the hotel, Dominican Republic, had a DJ, and the DJ was like, anyone want to rap? And the American guy went, you should hear my friend Sam rap. He's ridiculous. And I went, no, I ain't doing it. Unless you got instrumental, I ain't doing it. Well, I didn't know this guy was a proper DJ. We actually could drop the vocals and raise the beat. So I was like, damn, I'm gonna get shown up here. So I was like literally pooping my pants. Like, oh my god. And there was so many people in this hotel, like hotel club thing. It was all like proper gangsters. Honestly, I'll tell you some of the clientele in a minute there. That was funny. So anyway, 50 Cent, Many Men came on.
Yeah,
remember that song? And he managed to make it instrumental, and I just went for it and just rapped about the holiday, getting the drinks in. There was a 2-for-1 deal going on with mojitos that people were buying. Right. So I rapped about that, and so I linked obviously current subjects of the holiday that people were like, wow, that's actually what's happening.
Yeah.
And I finished it, and everyone was obviously dapping me and was like, that's sick, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, my ego's like now 500 feet wide by 100 feet up. It was crazy. And my American mate said, yo, you ever thought about doing this as a as a career. And I was like, what? And he's like, man, you're really good at it. Like you're so natural the way you flow with it. And he's like, plus, this is his words, not mine. You have a really cool voice. It's very unique. And he went, and plus the fact you're white, that like makes it double trouble. So I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. He's like, well, you should think about it. Like, what's rap like in England? At the time, rap wasn't big at all in England. Like, it was all house and trance at the time still. Like, that was a big thing. Like, dubstep was kind of coming in as well. Like, that was kind of a big thing in 06, 07. So
Hold Your
anyway,
Colours was coming out.
yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, not in a bad way. That weren't my thing though. I didn't really like it. I got nothing against it. Yeah, and most guys did, and I always felt like I didn't belong for my taste in music in this country because I love hip hop. But I was so patriotic, like I love being British, so I felt a bit like torn with my loyalties. And anyway, so I went to New York and to visit this guy because he was like, oh, if you ever get a chance, come to America and visit me. So of course, being spontaneous Sam that I am, I got a flight like 4 months later and flew out to New York, only knowing this guy for 10 days, thinking, well, if I get there, he could technically just like rob me and kill me, or could have some guys waiting for me. I went for it. No, I just went for it. So I met him and we crashed in New York. I got there about 11 o'clock at night. I hadn't even turned 17 yet. And he was like, Sam, man, we got this house party, man. It's kicking off about 11 o'clock tonight. I want you to roll through. I want to introduce you. There's a couple of guys that battle rap. They want to meet you. They want to battle rap with you.
We've lost your picture. You're back.
Oh, that's right. We need some battery. Hang on, let me get some battery. Crystal. I better get actually. What am I kidding? I'm about to let my girl get something for me. She don't.
Yeah, go. I'll do a quick interlude or something.
Hang on. I can still talk actually if you want.
No, it's all right. You grab that. I'll do a quick advert or something. We don't. Okay, so I've never done an advert on here, but Sam needs to go get his phone charger real quick. So I'm going to quickly shout out my company, 621.com. So if you want to head over to 621.com, we do car parts, we do merchandise, clothing. We've just dropped today. The probably sold out actually. There might be a couple left, but the tie-dye t-shirts, they went really fast today. We do loads and loads of stuff over at 61. It's a lot of fun. And check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJI621. Are you back with us, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you're
I'm
back.
live. Sorry about that.
So you were
so went to his house party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry. I went to the house party and tell me I'm boring you, by the way. You think
no, mate. This is exactly what I want to hear.
So yeah, I got there and it was literally like, it was crazy. The rules in America is it's just like the movies. I don't care what you say. It really is just like the movies. You have to bring a minimum of a 6-pack crate. If you don't have that, you don't get in because it's just courtesy. And you've got to bring a pack of plastic cups because back then England didn't have it, but beer pong was the thing out there. Because I say England didn't have it. When I came back in, like told my boys about beer pong, they looked at me like I had 9 heads. They're like, what? What the fuck? They're like, what the fuck is beer pong? And everyone was like, why would you make a game out of trying to drink beer? Sure, you just want to drink the beer. Why would you make a game out of it? And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, it's fun. Like, no, if I want to drink a beer, I'll just fucking down a can, wouldn't I? It's like, literally. So anyway, that's another story. So we got there. And these 2 guys come up and they're like, yo, man, I heard you can rap. And I was like, yeah, that ain't too bad. And they were like, yo, we got a guy that can beatbox and we got a guy that can do the instrumentals. And this guy started beatboxing. He was ridiculous. He was all like dropping beats, like all stuff like that, like proper just doing some crazy noises. And the first guy went, his name was Jerry. And they were like, literally, Jerry. And he was white, this guy. He didn't look like a rapper, actually. And he was dope. He flowed so cool. And I was like, wow, I am deep in here. I am in another world. I felt like a championship player in my first game in the Premier League. I really felt like, okay, let's up the tempo a bit.
Yeah.
Then the next guy went, his name was Big D. I don't know, right? But I didn't want to tell him that or laugh at him because he was like 6'4" and black and a big guy. He looked very imposing. He was nice as hell, but he looked so tough and so like you don't want to mess with this guy. But he's like a teddy bear. But anyway, he started going and he was sick in the light and he was like, I'm gonna pass it over to my main man for the UK, Sam. And I was like, literally trying to buy time, like, yo, okay, yo, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's clicked and I started going off on it and literally I captivated him. I think half it was because of the accent though, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
And I finished up about a 2-minute freestyle, which is like a long time, but I just went off in a crazy flow. And after that, like everyone was like cheering, clapping. It was crazy. Like I felt like wow. And I all of a sudden got a reputation in New York, in Long Island, that I was called Sam the Man. They were like, Sam, you are the man. And it was Sam the Man. And it started literally spreading around wildfire. Have you heard this guy, Sam the Man, rap? They're like, who? Like, it's a British guy that comes to America to visit his friends, and he just raps at house parties and he kills it.
Right.
And it started becoming a thing where I would go to different houses around New York. Like we went to Brooklyn, we went to Queens, went to Jamaica, Queens, and we would do battle raps, ciphers. Ciphers are my favorite because I weren't really too keen on battle raps, because battle raps is like the movies, a bit cheesy at 8 Mile. You'd like insult the guy or talk about how big your dick was. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really like that. Where ciphers, you would rap about what you wanted to rap about, and you flowed with it. It was like jamming with other people.
Yeah.
And I always seem to get like the most attention out of my bars, out of my 16 bars or 32 bars that I would do, always, every time. And everyone was just like bigging my ego up, like, yo, you really should look at pursuing this more seriously. So I got back to England after like my third trip out there. So after I'd done various trips out there, so I got to 19, and then after a while I was like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna make a mixtape over here and do one. So that was when the days when everyone listened to CDs still. Mm-hmm. So I made a mixtape, five track CD mixtape around the town, £3 a copy. People were just buying them because they just, one, it was me, and two, just because they were curious to hear someone from the area rap.
Yeah.
And one of the singles got like viral in the town. It started going on local, it went on BBC Norfolk, it went on Heart, it went on some other radio stations, and it picked up momentum on YouTube. And I started getting like town famous. It was crazy. It was like I was famous, but in like Yarmouth and Norwich. It was really surreal. And that's why I had that whole humbling thing about always take time to speak to people, because when they ask you how the music was going, I always make sure I take the time to say hello to them, because I don't want to be like, oh, I think I'm too big for my boots and I haven't got time for you.
Absolutely.
So I went back to New York again. And this guy that I met originally on Dominican Republic was had some girl he was sleeping with, and she was a singer. And she was like signed to some independent label in Queens. And he said, oh, actually, you ever heard my guy Sam? You should listen to his mixtape, because he got some copies as well. I sent some copies out to him and he sold them as well for me. Mm-hmm. And she listened to it. She went, that's awesome. Why is he rapping with an English accent now? And he was like, whoa, he's from England. He comes over. And they're like, oh, he's amazing. Like he sounds so good. Like I need to introduce him to my manager. So I was flying out coincidentally that week in in the summer of 2009. So I flew out there, and Eddie goes, Sam, you're never going to believe it. You're never going to believe it. This girl that I was seeing, she signed to an independent record called Q&Z Records, stands for Queens. They're in Queens, New York, and they have a record, like they have a studio, and the girl heard your mixtape. She paid to the owner of the label, and he wants to meet you. I was like, what? He wants to meet you. And he's heard some of your songs on YouTube. He wants to meet you. I was like, are you serious? I thought it was winding me up. I was like, are you serious? Like, someone wants to hear my music. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He wants to meet you. So we went down to it was Jamaica, Queens. We went down to, and we get to the house, and I was scared shitless because the house looked like it had no one living in it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh man, this looks dodgy as fuck. We're gonna get like robbed. So we go to the house, and these two guys come out. They're like, yo, Verdict's waiting for you. And I was like, Verdict? And they're like, that's his name. I was like, okay, that's a cool name, bit different, but okay.
Yeah.
Go to the back of the house, and you ever seen the movie Twister, where they have the tornado cabins and the cellars in the floor, the doors to the cellars in the floor, and they open these two doors, and there's these steps, and there was a door at the bottom, and it had a light coming from the bottom of the door, but it was obviously just pitch black going to the stairs. I looked at him, he looked at me, and went, well, man, I ain't gonna hold your fucking hand, man. You gotta walk down there, open the door. And I was like, brilliant. I'm gonna walk to a cellar in a house in Jamaica, Queens, and I've just got off the flight. And obviously back then you didn't have apps and phones, so I have about $900 in cash just sitting in my back pocket.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get fucked here. Like literally, this is just a stitch up. So I go downstairs and I get close to the door, and I start hearing like beats in the back, and it's getting loud and loud. I'm like, all right, cool, man. That's like a fucking party in there. Open the door. Literally, this massive Puerto Rican guy comes out, big old stance, and he goes, yo, man, my name's Verdict. I heard your stuff on YouTube, man. You're pretty dope, man. I was like, oh, cool, man. Nice to meet you. Like, all like probably British. Was like, oh, cool, nice to meet you. And he's like,
jolly ho, pip.
I want to. Yeah, literally, like, hello, mate. I was like, literally. So he was like, I want to hear what you got. So I was like, oh, okay. What, like, just freestyle now? He's like, yeah. Like, we're gonna put a beat on. I want you to freestyle to it. So I freestyled to this beat, and it was I actually had it on my Instagram reel. Funny enough, the song by Black Rob, "Whoa," and some of the hip hop fans might know it. And that he had that beat instrumental. He went rap to this, so I did, and even I must say it had to be one of my top 3 freestyles I've ever done. Like I
Okay,
just
cool.
pulled it out of my asshole, literally
Yeah.
pulled out the best ever. And I stepped out and they were all quiet, all the entourage. There's probably about 15, 20 people there, like the singer, the entourage, the sound engineer, because he had like a home studio. It was crazy. He had a studio, he had a mini gym area with a bench, he had a kitchen. Like it was a crazy, like the house didn't suit the cellar. The cellar was like another house. It was weird.
Yeah.
And he went, right, man, I want you to look at this in silence as soon as you can. I went, what's this? He went, it's a contract. I was like, contract for what? He's like, to our record label. I was like, what? He's like, I want to sign you up. I was like, are you for real? He's like, we don't pay you a lot, but we'll pay to keep you out here. We'll pay to keep you accommodation. And yeah, man, I started doing loads of features. I met some interesting people. I met a few famous rappers that not big, but big in, if you know rappers. I got to talk to them. Some of them I've still got on Instagram. I chat to a little bit, not much, but like chat to a little bit. So that's kind of like my little claim to fame. Like I met this rapper, I met that rapper. I
Is there
did a
any
lot of
that the
feature work.
non-rap guys would recognize? Like, are there any
Uh,
A-list sort of
you,
type things, or are they all
uh,
more like if you're into rap, you'll be like, oh shit, that
yeah,
guy's the fucking big dog sort of thing? Like,
like I met Asher Roth. If
I
you
know
remember,
the
I Love
name, I couldn't.
College.
Like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay, I do know. Yeah,
the
I
guy
do know
I
this
met, I
song.
met him. I've got him on Facebook still, which is quite
Who? Sorry.
funny. Asher Roth, still
Oh
got him. I've got him on
yeah.
Facebook.
Cool.
I met the guy Mims, funny enough, Mims, who did the
I got
song
mate.
"This
I'm
Is Why
sorry.
I'm
I've
Hot."
got. Oh yeah. No wait, I've got to put Asher Ross. Asher Roth.
I love
Yeah,
college.
I love going.
I love drinking.
Gym. Yeah, I want to put that on my Spotify playlist later because I haven't heard
Literally,
that song
mate.
in ages. Yeah, cool. Carry on. Yeah.
So I met Mims, who did obviously "This Is Why I'm Hot." You know, this is why I'm hot. This is
This is
why
why
I'm
I'm
hot.
hot.
This is
Yeah.
why. This is why.
Why?
This
This
is
is
why.
why
This
I'm
is why
hot.
I'm hot because I'm fly. You ain't because you not. Is one of them ones.
Yeah.
And then I met as well, and I met another guy who I don't think anyone would know over here. He's quite big in America. A guy called it's not really appropriate name in England because it means something different over here. But his name is Gashi. I swear, true story. And if he ever sees this, he's probably thinking, "Man, I'm mocking him." But yeah, he's actually really big. He actually had some. I got him on Facebook. He actually was doing a meet and greet. He was at a famous celebrity's wedding earlier on this before COVID in 2019, and he had a picture with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and everyone was like
Wow.
licking his commenting like, "Wow, you've made it big." Because his name's Larry, but it's called Gashi. Like, you made
Right.
it big,
Okay.
Larry. And it's him with like his hand, like shaking the hand with Jay-Z, looking at the camera with like his hand around the waist of Beyonce. I was like, wow, literally rubbing shoulders with big
Oh,
people.
dude, he's
And
got
I was actually quite,
54,000 followers, and Logan Paul follows him. DJ Paulie
Ugashi.
D, yeah. Jenna Marbles follows him. French Montana follows him on
Yeah,
Twitter. Mate, even just having Logan Paul following you is fucking cool to me. But he does follow like
yeah.
4,500 people. But like, still,
But
that's
do you want to hear a really sad thing though? Is like when I met him and we rapped, he was really cool with me, and then he got really big. And I mean, obviously I've stopped doing the music now, but he did a gig in England in 2018, and he was in London, and I messaged him on Facebook and he used to always respond to me. I was like, Gashi, I'm not asking for favors, but I would love to catch up with you, mate. Like, I don't know if you remember me. And he was like, yeah, I remember you. He was like, I would love to catch up with you, but I can buy a ticket. Is there any chance I could get backstage and just have a catch up with you? Like, because you used to be in the same studio as me, because the studio block, because some of the stuff was at the QNZ Records that was at the home studio. But then when we did like group project, there was a place in Jamaica, south side of Jamaica, Queens, where it was random, it was like a block. So it was like a cubicle, it was weird. It was a building, it was segregated into 12 different studios. So there's loads of artists doing different things. And it was crazy because you'd all just like, you jump in different people's rooms and be like, what are
yeah.
you making? And if you were dope enough, you would jump on their track. And like, I was in a music video with some rap group that never made it big, I don't think, but I was in a music video with them all green screened in there. And that's why I met Gashi. And I was like, oh, we could talk about old times. And he was like, yeah, let me know. So I went down on my own to go see him. And I messaged him, and he read my messages, and he never got back to me.
Oh.
And I was proper gutted. Like, I felt so mugged off. I was like, wow, I actually went out there to like meet up, and he just blanked me out. And that was when I was like, wow, man, like that sucks that someone who I once used to rub shoulders with, like a normal, like you, it's like you and me, like if you made music and all of a sudden like you got really, really big. And then you just like sort of, well, I don't know whether you blank me. Like he read it that night. That's what upset me more about it. He'd read it like that same night. So it wasn't like after the gig he was too busy. He'd read it that night, and yeah, he didn't respond. I was a bit like, wow, I never want to be like that, where I feel I'm too good to respond to somebody, especially when they sort of knew you from way back then. But maybe he thought I was just trying to grab attention and grab on the hype train. I don't know, but it just was a bit shit for me, really. So I was a bit like, wow, I thought we were a bit cooler than that. We used to like write together, but he obviously doesn't remember me as much anymore. So, but yeah, so that's probably the most famous people I met. And then I made a music video for myself. What I met a guy called Charlie Zwick. If you Google him, he is massive now. Okay. Huge director.
How do you spell his name? Charlie.
So Charlie, and then Zwick is Z for Zulu, W for whiskey, I-C-K. Charlie Zwick. Yeah. And he's like,
oh, blimey. He is a film writer, apparently. He does movies. Well, I assume like. Oh, hang on. So it's like Gut Machine Gun Kelly he works with.
Yeah, he worked Fabulous. He worked with Wiz Khalifa.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and he is Eddie, the guy that I came to America with. He's Eddie's cousin. That's how I got the link up.
Okay, cool.
Eddie was like, right, I think I've been holding the secret for you long enough. I could get you a music video from Charlie Zwick cheap as anything. If I say that I'm backing you. I was like, really? You know Charlie Zwick? He was like, yeah, he's my cousin. I was like, what?
Oh, shit.
Are you serious? I was like, this is the guy that's worked with Wiz Khalifa. And this was after Wiz Khalifa dropped Black and Yellow. Do you remember that song?
Fucking mate, Wiz Khalifa is my favorite rapper. Like now Mac Miller's passed, like Wiz Khalifa is my number one. I love him. I love Wiz Khalifa. I literally only went to a festival that Wiz was playing at, V Fest, one year. Wiz was there, and he was the only artist. I'd said to everyone, I was like, we can see whoever you lot want. I'll be by your side, but when Wiz is on the stage, I'm gonna be at the front. I say, because I fucking love that guy. And that was like just after Black and Yellow came out. So I'd binge listened like all of his old catalog, Rolling Papers. He did stuff with
Mac Miller as well.
Yeah, he did stuff with Mac Miller.
They're the same city, weren't they? They're both Pittsburgh.
So I had, I had the Rolling Papers album, the UK version. But when I went to America, they had a special edition on sale in one of the fucking shops. And it had a song with Mac Miller on it. That's how I learned about Mac Miller, because he'd featured on Wiz's album. What was that song called? It's something about being high, obviously. Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller. It was such a good song. Keep Floating. That's what it was called. And,
Keep floating.
Yeah, and I loved it, mate. And that's how I found out about Mac Miller, because that song was like, I was like, okay. And that was when Mac had Best Day Ever mixtape out.
What
album
that was.
I still listen to it today. I still listen to it today. If I ever just chill out, if I'm on a long drive, that album goes on, and I listen to the whole thing, and then I get really sad when he sings about his mum, because obviously now he's passed and she hasn't, so she'll probably still listen to that song. That's how I picture it, like, you know, it's like song how much he loves his mum, and I was like, that's so anti-rap. Do you know what I mean? Like, to rap about how much you love your mum, like. But I was like, it's just fucking. I loved Mac Miller, so sorry to interrupt you, but like, Wiz
no. I was the same. No, I was the same. I love Matt Miller. I was very upset. I was close to tears. It sounds so silly. I was close to tears when I heard he passed away. I was very devastated by it.
I didn't believe it.
I watched it. I heard of him because of America and New York. My friends were like, "Oh, you're like a English version of Mac Miller." I was like, "Am I really?" And I was like, "Who is Mac Miller?" This is back in 2009. And I heard him. I was like, literally just licked his ass from that day. I was like, wow, everything he does, I watch him. I was watching the Mac Miller behind the scenes of the tours of his Mac Miller tour. And I watched him in where was he? He performed at the Apollo in London before he was big. It was really, really cool. It was basically, I saw Mac Miller when he was that young. He was pre-tattoos. He had no tattoos.
Wow,
that's how young he was, and he was the main act for it. But so Charlie Zwick would work with all those guys, and he did a video for me, and it sucked because I look back at it and I always regret this. I always feel it was the big mistake I made with my music career. Was so the label were like, right, we've got your album. I had all my songs written up that I wrote myself, bad English that, wrote myself. And they chose a song I made called Can't Define Me that I'd written. And the beat was made for me by a guy in Australia who was linked with this record label. So it's quite a cool, unique thing. We had a rapper feature on it who was on the Jimmy Fallon show. He was on it a month before. A guy called Leon Marin, who still raps this day, actually. He ain't big famous. He should be, though, by the way. Very talented rapper. But we managed to get Leon Marin on the track, and his verse, he had one verse on it. I had two, and he completed the song. He was just so good. And we basically, they said, how do you want the video? And I said, well, for me, for my English like boys, I want to be going through like Queens, dressed up like, you know, in my jeans, hoodie, snap, like just normal. I want to be normal. And I want to be rapping about the song. You know, just basically just loving the fact I'm getting the rap from American rappers in New York as an English rapper. I don't know if you remember Channel U.
Yeah, I remember Channel U. Yeah.
Which is now like Channel AK, which is now I think gone now, I think. But anyway, Channel U, like the big thing out there was if you were able to go to America as an English rapper and rap with American rapper, you were seen to be like have good links.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, wow, if I could just emphasize the fact that I'm British doing this song with American with Charlie Wick's name attached to it. It sounds a bit big-headed, but I was like, I've got really good foot in the door here if this single takes off.
Yeah.
And then they said, no, we ain't having you dressing like every other rapper, man. That's done. That's played out. Like everyone does that. Everyone wears a snapback and wears jeans and a hoodie. We got to go for some crazy shit. And I was like, yeah, but that's not really me though. Like I don't want to really do that. They're like, look, the angle we want to take, we want unique. You got a deep booming voice, very like dark voice. We want to portray quite a dark picture. So they got some models in, and it basically, we found this warehouse that was graffitied up really cool, typical like New York graffiti. And basically the video was me. Oh man, I look back and cringe at it, man. Who am I to say Charlie's Wick? Yeah, I mean, some people think it's cool. For me, I look back and think, I fucking hate it. Like, but who was I to argue with Charlie's Wick at the time and be like, yeah, your idea is shit.
Yeah.
Like, you done a video for Wiz Khalifa and Machine Gun Kelly. That's irrelevant. You're shit.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, okay. Eddie was just like, my friend Eddie, who was like technically like my PA at the time. He was like, Sam, just go with it. And for those who haven't seen the video, and I don't think it's even on the internet anymore.
Because I didn't know the last time I found it.
Yeah, I don't even know the rights to it because it wasn't because that song, although I wrote it, it belongs to that label. So I didn't own the rights to it. I tried to post it on my YouTube back in the day, and it soon got taken down. I don't know if it's back up again. I can't remember now. I had like copyright infringement, whatever. But I had to wear a long black coat. I had these crazy contact lenses in. I remember the video, yeah. I had a black top hat, and I had this model who was on a chain. I had like on a dog leash, but on like a spiked chain. I'm walking her through like this crazy warehouse, and it was like real different. I had like a couch throne that I sat on in the middle of this warehouse with all the graffiti behind me, and then Leon Marin comes in, and obviously the hype around him was because he was on the he was on the Jimmy Fallon show and had done like a really sick piece, and everyone loved him. So yeah, and basically the report over here was it got really bad reviews over here. Like quite a big minority of people were really hating on it, just saying like it wasn't your style, it wasn't the video we thought you were going to do.
What was that my song
town can't define me.
Oh, okay. Sam the Man. I'm just trying to see. Trying to see if I can find it on. What the fuck? Does it like suggest videos to you? Like it. So this is a complete off topic. I've just put in Sam the Man Can't Define Me, and it's come up with 2 videos from a band called Bad Nerves, and they're quite a big band like in the punk scene. And I went to school with their lead singer. He was one of my really good friends in primary school.
How weird is that?
How fucking weird is that? That has to be like just because I subscribed to their YouTube channel. I am maybe, but it's not. I don't know. Whatever. I can't see the video though, but I do remember seeing it previously because I was like, that guy's got that fucking girl on a lead.
Yeah, literally, that was crazy. You'd be surprised how many girls were impressed with that, by the way, when I got back home. That was quite cool to have like a really good looking model. Yeah, they're like, I saw the video you did with that model. That was so cool. Like, did you know her? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and the local papers did a piece on me. I had an interview, I had a radio interviews, like a lot of publicity behind it, but a lot of not a lot, that's an exaggeration, but a small minority of people were constantly trolling the videos, like just saying like the video saying it wasn't me. I've disrespected the town. I've not known my roots. I'm trying to be something that I'm not, and the single didn't really take off as big as it did over here, as what it did in New York. And it wasn't long by coincidence. It wasn't because of me, by the way. Coincidence, the label then started to invest money in artists that didn't pop as big as they thought they would. They had some singers, they had some other rappers. And before I knew it, the owner of the record label said, look, I need to bail out now, otherwise I'm gonna lose so much money in this. I got to get out. And I just said, what does that leave for me? And he was like, look, I'll be honest with you. We're gonna liquidize the company so I don't lose any more money on it. I'm gonna make it declared as bankrupt, and anything that you did own or write under this label, unfortunately, you won't own. You can't take with you because it's under label, and I don't even want it. But unless you want me to sell it to you, and I was like, are you serious? You want me to buy songs I've written myself to then own them back? So I lost like 25, 26 songs, and I reckon about 12, 13 of those were, in my eyes, and some of my friends used to say, were like real hot joints. And it sounds like a bad attitude to have, but like it really knocked me for six. That like it really sort of made me feel like this is a bit of a shitter. Really, this really sucks. And I got back to the UK and I didn't have any connections because I had all my connections set up in America, and I kind of put all my eggs in one basket. And yeah, hip hop in England at the time was nowhere near. So I did a lot of gigs around here anyway, but the love for it wasn't really as big as what it was in America. And it kind of just fizzled out. And then I kind of just had a bit of a bad attitude, just thought, yeah, you know what? I'm just done with it. Like I want to start working, and I can't have a job. I need to get a job and make good money. And that's when I started getting back into cars again. And then that's when I bought the Civic. And then my attention from all the money I spent on making videos, like local music videos, and making songs and paying for my own CDs and paying for music engineers, I then put into cars, and it slowly pushed music out and the cars came in.
Yeah.
And the only way it used to come in, my rapping, was when I used to do the shows at JE. When I did that, I think there's a video somewhere around. I can probably find it.
There is. It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Where I'm rapping about Hondas.
Yeah.
And I had like this big audience.
Do you remember you rapped at my Impact meet as well?
Oh my God, yes.
You did a whole freestyle
about that.
Yeah.
And there's two guys, the guy with the long dreadlocks DJ, and they look cool.
Ed. Ed and
he
his
was
friend.
dope.
Yeah.
Them
shows are fucking. Them show it, man. I think I did a fucking good job. Like for a fucking 23-year-old that had no idea what the fuck he was doing.
621 at Impact at the Colchester football ground. Yes, I remember that. And and these guys had the decks, and I was like trying to fight the urge not to say it. And I walked up to that guy with the blonde dreadlocks, and Ed, you say.
I think that was Ed's friend. It wasn't Ed. Ed was the blonde guy without dreads. It was his friend. I can't remember the guy's name. Who was the second?
Because the guy they're both nice guys, but yeah, the guy with the dreadlocks was dope because he was able to drop the beat when I was dropping the punchline. Like he knew when I was gonna drop it. Like he just knew.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, can I rap? And he's like, yeah, man, can you rap? I was like, yeah, I think I can rap. And then like all the Hlife guys came over and they were like bigging me up, like, yo, honestly, let Sam kill it. He will.
I think someone come and asked me. I think they were like, this guy wants to rap. Do you want him to? And I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah, fucking do it. Why wouldn't you just let him do it? Just let him do it. Like, what the fuck? I was like, just let it happen. This is sick.
Yeah. And I just did it. And then
you've got to bear in mind, sorry to interrupt again, like my whole influence comes from with my branding, my cars, not so much my cars now, but like back in the day, everything, all of my influence was from America. So the fact that someone wanted to freestyle rap at my car show, I was like, get him on. What are you fucking? Yeah, this is sick. Like, come on. And they're like, because I've grown up, not half and half, but very much as a guy that's been lucky enough to go to America a lot throughout my whole life. So the American influence is massive on me ever since I was a baby. So like when like
it's my second home.
Yeah, because I've got a story. I mean, we've been talking for ages, but we can carry on for a little bit longer. Like there's a few things I want to touch on with your rapping still before we disappear off completely. Would you ever give it another go?
This is the big question, and people might laugh at me for saying this, but I might just expose to the whole of your viewers, if there is many viewers that want to listen to this part of it. If you've made it this far, well done. Is I think one, am I too old to do it now? At 31, I'm like, am I too old to be rapping? Is like a grown man rapping over a hip hop beat something that's like a bit frowned upon, a bit like, wow, you should.
Can I answer?
Yeah, of course you can.
Fuck no. Like, you should give it a go if you want, man. They're like, if you think about it, yeah, like, do you reckon 50 Cent is sat there going, I'm never going to release another fucking rap song ever again because I'm old and rich? Of course not. He's probably still playing around with it all. And I feel like if it's a passion of yours, mate, I
loved
31. It. I am 31 years old and I still play with cars. Like, if you look at my cars, if we were 14 and you were looking at a 31-year-old man with a bright purple drift car and a little red track car, you wouldn't think like, well, you know, like that guy's successful. You know, you'd be like, oh, that guy's got two old shit cars. Especially the youth of today would be like, that guy's got two shit old cars. But if they looked on my driveway at the BMWs, they'd be like, oh, he's done well for himself. But my passion isn't in the BM. Well, I like my M3. I'm not going to bullshit. I love my M3. But like, my passion isn't in the daily driver, nice, flashy BMW. That's just a product of my work. You know, that's like a product of necessity of like, fuck, I've got a dog. I need to tow my cars everywhere. Like, I need something that does everything. I can turn up to meetings full of product and show it off, you know? I feel like if you are still in love with rapping and it's still what you are passionate about, I see no harm in just finding a musician that can make you an instrumental of the sort of beat you want.
Yeah, I can even do samples. I would do a free mixtape. I've got some songs I wrote during lockdown just because out of boredom. That's why I got my love re-sparked for again.
So easy now for you to advertise yourself. Like,
yeah, it's different.
You
like
don't
back then,
need
when I was doing it, it was hard.
Yeah, you don't need a fucking. You could make your own YouTube channel, and it might never get any fucking views. Who gives a shit? You could put yourself on Spotify. I could show you how to put yourself on Spotify. It's easy.
Yeah.
And you put it up, and then you can be like, all right, cool. I'm doing this now. Like, you know, I put a new song up, and you've got how many followers have you got on Instagram?
Like over 4,000.
There you go. You got 4,000 followers, and let's say 10% of them are active all the time for you. So that's 400 people that would click a link. And then you've got friends like me that would be like, yo, my mate Sam just dropped a new rap track, dude. I really want you to go check it out. Leave a comment on his video, and one of you will get free 621 t-shirt or something. Just for, you know.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. I mean, I can get the videos made as well now because like my best friend is a video maker. And he said like I would do you some on the cheap, but you just need to find someone that can can record the songs for you and then master them. That's the only problem I'm struggling with now. I've lost a lot of ability. I don't know how to master anymore. If I could record a song.
Shut up. This is all excuses. Do you really want me to get on Google and find your recording studio? I was looking earlier because I would love to have a proper podcast studio, right? Like that I could just rent, but I don't have enough money to, basically. There's one in Colchester that is £45 an hour to rent. And if you want to pay for a mixer and like the whatever you just said, like the specific words you just said for like finalizing a track, it's 125 quid.
Yeah.
That's not that deep if it's something you're passionate about, dude.
Yeah, and you got to think, do you want to do it because you want just the love or because you love it or you want to make a career out of it? For me, obviously a career would be cool, but I'm realistic. I would love it if just, you know what, it sounds cheesy. If someone just said to me, yeah, man, listen to your shit. I bump that. I like it. I listen to it. I think it's cool. Yeah. That would be cool for me. I used to love going around the city and be like, people go, yo, when's your next mixtape coming out? I'd be like, that's so cool. You listen to it. I got my first job where I work now. I work, believe it or not, at a bank at Santander. And my boss, when I finished the interview, said to me, one more question. And it's a true story. I went, what's that? He went, will you make another one? And I was like, in a suit, like, sorry, what? He went, will you make another one? I went, I'm sorry, I don't understand. And he then pulled out my first edition mixtape. And this is a true story. Stood at the desk. He went, I mean, one of them. I was like, no way. I went, this is a little bit embarrassing. He went, nah, man, it's really cool. He's like, my wife's a big fan of you. I was like, what? He's like, I'm going to tell her that I interviewed you. I was like, no.
Also, what sort of year was this that you were?
What, when active, I was sort of, so I was active between, well, like actually on the internet between 07 to 2012.
Were you around when Dream McLean was a name?
No, well, I don't know.
He was a rapper. He made a song called Coke and Vodka. That was like his big one, and he was on a few Professor Green songs. So he was like town famous you know, for his music
Yeah, that's
in
cool.
Colchester. And I remember just seeing him walking around, and he was just like this normal dude. He was like friends with all the people I was
Yeah,
friends with in like different scenes, but like I'd
yeah,
be like, oh shit, that's Dream McLean. Oh, that's dope. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just cool. Like,
yeah,
and just now I was just
yeah.
thinking, like, I wonder what he's up to. Do you know what I mean? I was like, I wonder what Dream McLean's doing nowadays. Like that, because like
Probably working at a bank like me.
I don't know. I don't know if he's still doing it, but like he was like let me have a look on his Twitter. Yeah, he's like 13,000 followers. Like he did really well. And I like to see people, one from my area, succeed. Obviously I love it when Colchester boys and girls do well. I love that. Like it's just a cool thing for me that I'm lucky enough to have a few of them being friends that are successful. Sam Pilgrim, the biker, James Webb, MMA, Taylor Perman, BJJ, fucking chat. Do you know what I mean? Like these are guys that I know. Like James, I consider a really good friend. Same with Sam. Taylor's my coach at jiu-jitsu. Like, so there's a lot of like very successful people coming out of Colchester, and I think it's sick. But like, I also always want my friends to do well. I'm not one of them friends that if you started blowing up tomorrow as a rapper and getting all these numbers, and I have like been like grinding YouTube for 8 years, or whatever it is, and I'm not getting anywhere, I wouldn't be like, oh fuck him, he doesn't deserve it. I'd be like, I was going to say to you earlier, like if you get songs that aren't copyright, if you're making having someone make their own beat for you, I can put it in YouTube videos, dude. Like there's nothing to say. One of
That's
them
what
videos won't
I
get
need to find
10,000
someone.
views. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing
Any
to say
aspiring
that.
beat makers, send Adam a message.
Yeah, or mate, I'll tell you what I'd fucking do, and you might just be like, "Fuck off, Adam." I'd get on Fiverr.com, mate. So what Fiverr is a web. I'm not sponsored, by the way. I use this occasionally though. It's where artists put stuff for sale, and there'll be musicians, there'll be singers on there that just want to do backing tracks that just sell themselves for vocal. I would get on there and have a look for a beat maker, like listen to some of their samples and be like, "Oh, I could work to this." Then message them and be like, "Hi, I'm kind of just wanted to lay down some, bars over a track. How much for one of your tracks?" It might literally be £5, mate. Like they might be like, "Yeah, £5 and it's yours." And it's like, or it might be like, oh, 50 quid for this one, but it's yours then to do whatever you want with. And I just think it'd be so fucking cool to see someone that I've known for fucking forever, really, my whole adult life almost, doing something that he loves. I'd love to get a phone call from you one day being like, oh, Ads, I did this new fucking thing. I'm going to send you over, man. Even if you don't like it, just tell me the honest truth. Because you know I will. I'm not a yes man. I think that's what I'm going to end up calling this podcast going forward. I'm not a yes man. And if I think something fucking sucks, I'll be like, I'll be honest now, it doesn't vibe for me. Let me send it to a few of my mates that do like this kind of thing, though. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But like for me,
mate,
of
course, man, of course.
I don't like fucking mountain biking, but I support Sam when he's doing it. Like I watch his YouTube videos. I don't fucking like mountain biking. Like it's not one of the things that I grew up in love with. But like I watch what he does, and I'm like, holy shit, he's my boy. He comes and sits around my house. We got
that's like the guy Eddie
together.
from America.
Yeah,
he's in a rock and roll band. He moved to LA to chase his dream, and he's not like he's not rich or famous, but he's doing all right. He's making a living from it. Bit difficult a minute with the gig situation, but long story short, he's on Insta. Any video he puts up, he knows what. If you ever heard this, I don't mean offensively. It's not my thing, but I will back it and hype man him to the death because that's my friend. I want to see my friends do well. So I will like, I dare I say I've actually been guilty of liking a video before actually even hearing it play because it's like that's Eddie's video.
Yeah, I do as well because
my boy.
Success breeds success, and I feel if you put out positive vibes, they'll come back to you. And you are one of the people that have always been very nice, supportive, positive, caring. Dare I say, like when I went through that breakup, you listened to me fucking whinge on the phone for hours about it and how hurt I was, And this is something I want to come back to real quick as well, because music is all obviously unique to you. Everyone makes their own music. I was always into a bit more rock, metal. Like I'd play guitar. Like that's what I don't really do it much anymore. Like my amp's broken, so I can't even plug it in and make all the weird noises.
Before you go, I'm cutting you off. Sorry, before I go, there might be one video actually on YouTube still.
Okay.
When I was, see if you can find it. It's so old. I'm so young.
Sat in front of like a stereo system in a wooden room, wearing a red hoodie with a white snapback. 9 years ago,
me?
Sam the Man, STM.
Oh, that's in the studio. That's in the Long Island studio. That was what I was talking about. That's a freestyle.
Okay,
that was crazy. That was a good one.
And then there's Sam the Man featuring Emma Crowther, Smile exclusive.
Yeah, that one quite big. Because I had to re-release these on my own YouTube because I wanted to try and get them back out there. Not that I had loads of views anyway, but like they had like more like 20-30,000 views. For me at the time was big.
Still big
but the
now
time was
for somebody,
big.
for like an underground artist.
but like now it's like I don't even know what they've got, like what, 1,000 views.
3,000 each.
Oh, okay, it's not bad then.
That's all right.
Like, and then the other one I was gonna say was I did an actual video, was myself when I was 20, was STM, I think it was, Alcoholic.
Yeah, that's on your channel as well. 2,500 views.
That was a cool song, man. That was about like my mum who was an alcoholic, and it's just me rapping about that. And that hit home. I had a lot of guys message me saying like, "Oh, I've had the same thing with my dad, more of a father than a mum doing it," and that was cool that people relate to your situation through your music. So that was cool.
So what I love about music, because I can't do it. Like, I physically don't like to sit down and write music. Does that make sense? If I do pick up the guitars, normally I'll go on one of the tab websites and just find a song I like. And what I like doing is finding a song that shouldn't be played on guitar and learn it on guitar. Does that make sense? You know, like a rap song that shouldn't be played on acoustic guitar, and I like to learn it on acoustic guitar. That's the kind of type of music I like to indulge in if I'm going to be doing it, which isn't often anymore. I don't want to sit here and bullshit people. Like, I maybe pick my guitars up a couple of times a month if I'm lucky. You know what I mean? Like, I like to keep them all tuned just in case. Like, they're all on my wall. Like, I like to pick them up, play them a little bit.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. And like going back to Mac Miller, like, and why, how much I love him, and why I will always care about that guy. Like, I felt like he gave us all a gift. Like, even after he died, 'cause he died, I think it was the arse end of 2018, wasn't it?
Yes.
It
No,
was like,
2019, wasn't it?
let me
I
have
don't
a
know. It
quick
seems
look.
like not
Mac
long ago.
Miller death date. It was 7th of September 2018. Fucking
18, yeah. I
like,
remember because I was on my own in the house because my wife was on a hen do in Spain, and I was like, I feel so vulnerable on my own. I need someone to talk to. I was so sad.
Mate, that whole day I was in like an actual, like, real down mood. I was like really, really sad because I was like, wow, I feel like I've lost a friend.
If you hear his song 2009, he talks about this. Like, he doesn't want to be that rapper. He said, I'd rather be the rapper that's known for being a cool guy than that cheesy rapper that overdoses and kills himself. And he did that exact thing literally just months later from that song. And he said that, and that was so weird. He visioned his own death. But that's what I found really crazy about that. But I loved how he went over the darkness in that.
Yeah, he released, his team released Circles, the album Circles, on the 17th of January 2020. I've got it up on the screen here because that date is it makes me feel a bit weird because, like, that breakup I spoke to you about, it wasn't just a breakup. That was a really abusive relationship that I was in. Like, it really, really traumatized me, if I'm being honest. And that's probably why around that time of my life, my content was all weird, because I just I didn't fucking know who I was anymore. I was fucked. I was in complete control by somebody else. My whole life was dictated by somebody else for 4 or 5 months of how bad it got. And that week was the week that I found out about a load of stuff that happened. And I found that obviously my life was changing drastically to what I was used to. And I didn't get out of bed for a month, 6 weeks, I think it was. But a week after it all happened, that album Circles got released. And it was, I found solace in that. And I found, like, because I didn't know that this album was a thing. So I found out that they might release one of his unreleased albums that he'd been finishing, like, about December time. And I was like, oh, because I don't really keep up with music. Do you know what I mean? And I knew Mac had passed away. Mac Miller had passed away, and I was sad. And I was like, that's the end of that. Never going to hear music from him again. And then when this album dropped, I listened to it. I must have been about 5 times all the way through. And then when I got to work, because the next day when I went to work, I they released all of the videos on YouTube on the same day as well. All of, like, them psychedelic looking videos. And I had them on, and just I will always, always love this guy, even though I've never met him. I've never had any interaction. I've got no connection to him other than I
you don't know him.
His art. I enjoy his art. But during that I suffered bad with mental health problems. So, like, having something that I could lean on so heavily that I felt that was so special, because I got to hear fresh words from somebody that no longer exists. And it meant a lot to me. And I still, once again, listen to that album on repeat. I don't know, 2 or 3 times a week, I guess I put it on, and, like, if I just am having a bad time, if my head feels like it's about to fucking explode with, like, anxiety, I don't like to say so much depression anymore, because I've really tried to deal with that, like, throughout my life. And I feel like I'm in a fairly good space, but anxiety is something that is constant, man. Like, The only way I can describe it for me, how I experience it, is like as a real storm in my head constantly, or TV static. So, if you used to
Yeah.
put it onto a TV channel before digital, and it'd be like,
Yeah. Yeah. Too late or too early in the day.
that noise, or that, that's the kind of noise I describe goes on in my head sometimes. And it's just because there's so
Mm,
much going on, it just feels like it fuses. Whereas I put
mm.
that on and I shut my eyes for a little bit, and I just disappear, and I just get to be in this, like, I feel like I'm in a conversation with him, and I'm just kind of vibing with what he's saying, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is it. This works for me, and then it brings me back
And
down
that's
to
my kind
earth.
of style, man. That's my
Yeah,
kind of style. Like I'm never a heavy guy. Like that's what I mean. I like that's what I always worry about as well. Like another thing that held me back with my music was after I wanted to make a comeback with it, or considered it, shall we say. Didn't make a
yeah,
comeback, but like considered it was I was always worried if everyone used to say to me, not in a bad way, but you're very one dimensional. Is although you can rap quick, you're very sort of chilled vibe kind of guy, like a slow rapper, melody kind of old school feeling. Is it just one style? Is it not that good? And I was like, it started making me doubt myself a little bit.
yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I could push stuff out, see how I got on with it, see what the reaction to it would be. If it's no good, then I'll still make music, but just more for myself. But if it was had a good reception, then I probably would enjoy pushing more stuff out. I mean, you can always start with, I guess, samples that are already beats being, made by artists that are famous, but like old school beats, instrumental, do them on YouTube because you can do them for free just to see if you can get the attention for it. And if there is people appreciate what you do, then I guess there's a reason I could look into doing some
Or
of those beats.
you could just do it because you love it. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And just do it because it's a passion. Like, that's why I do YouTube. All right, I moan about the
mm,
views sometimes because it's fucking annoying, but I've been doing it for so long now. I can't imagine my life
mm,
without it. Even if I ended up going
mm.
down to getting 500 views a video, I'd be like, well, it's still 500 people watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Mm,
documenting what it's something I love. I still build my cars. They do not help me financially anymore. Like, whereas I used to be able to build a car fucking 6 years ago, and everyone would buy all the parts I put on it because of the blog and going to meets and stuff. Now, like, because I'm not turning a car over in 2 weeks, no one fucking gives a shit. It's fine. I get it. Like, it's cool.
yeah.
But, I think you might have stories to tell now that you never would have done. And all the emotion and feeling you had to battle losing your dream. I've lost
Yeah.
my dream. I lost my dream. Like, I lost it fucking 5 years ago. And it still resonates with me now. It still fucks me off now. It still hurts me now.
Mm,
And it's like, if you could put that feeling to paper and work on it, and don't just rush it out. What's the point?
yeah.
Work on it as a passion project, and like, it might really, like, you might save someone else down the line, like Mac Miller saved me in January last year. Because there's a line that
Maybe.
he said in that album, and like, I have to say, there's the noise, the feeling in my head, especially when I was dealing with all this fucking shit that I was going through. I know I'm not unique, but we all have our own demons we have to battle, and I have some I still need to battle. There's a line that goes something along the lines of, spent the whole day in my head, did a little
Yeah.
spring cleaning, too busy dreaming. And that, I was just like, holy fuck. He knows how I feel, because right now I am in my own head. I'm not conversing with anyone. I am sat at home, sad, trying to sort my head out. And then he's like, but
Mm,
I'm too busy dreaming. And that's because my head would disappear off to, if I just get a car in Japan, all my life will be happy. I'll be happy if I
yeah.
get that. And I was like,
I love
oh,
the
no
positive
shit.
vibes as well. He did. They
Yeah.
were so
Oh,
good. Like he
he's
did
just,
that best day ever.
yeah,
Life couldn't get better. It's gonna
it'd
be the
be the
best
best
day
day
ever.
ever. Yeah. And mate, and Donald Trump, that song Donald Trump that he did. And then
Mate, when he
fucking,
played that in Hammersmith, the crowd went. I had video that looks like a potato footage
yeah,
of
yeah,
everyone just going absolutely
absolutely nuts.
crazy when that went.
But I just
Like,
think, like you said about that alcoholic song, you might have words in that head of yours that may help somebody else on this planet. And I
mm,
feel like it's a very healthy thing for you to go back to what you love. I think it's a very healthy thing to be creative as well. I know you, man. You creative as fuck, and you've got so many people wanting a bit of you anyway for like these fucking videos that they keep wanting to put you in because you're a good presenter. Like, why don't you focus on something for yourself? Just half an hour a day. Just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna take some me time and do what I like.
maybe I think my thing that holds me back, which is probably not a good attitude to have. It sounds like I'll be very high, how should I word this? Very hypocritical. Is where I say about try and be nice to each other and say good things and give good positive images and whatever you. I think my worry is, and which is very silly, is I'm worried about what people will comment and say about what I would do. And that sounds so stupid because when I did the music originally, it used to upset me when people didn't like it, but I got on with it because I'd be like, for those 10 that didn't like it, I'd have 100 that would like it, and that would get me over the line. Whereas now, I don't know why. I don't want to say anxiety because no way have I got that. I think not you, but a lot of people throw that word around very freely. Um, but I always feel a bit like, oh, I'd be really embarrassed if someone said it was really, really bad. And one thing that always stuck with me, which really, I don't know why, this guy who I never knew, I knew of him, saw me in a bar a couple of years ago, and he bumped into me with all his friends. And it was very weird for me to feel like this because normally I don't give a, you know, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'll be like, yeah, okay, whatever, like, big deal. But he went to me, Sam, oh, Sam the man, like in like a mocking way. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And he went, didn't you go to America and rap? And I went, yeah. Like I kind of smiled. I thought it was like, I'll be honest, if it was to stroke my ego a bit, I went, yeah, I did. How are you? Because I knew of him. And he went, yeah, didn't you go out there and like you did a video and it didn't take off and you basically failed and had to come back to England? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess you could word it like that. Some would just say I chased the dream and I didn't get the whole way. But and then his mates were like, yeah, wannabe, never wannabe. And I was like, well, I didn't say that. And they
burn a fire in you, man.
Well, part of
To
it does.
me,
Like,
dude.
then they walked away. I felt like saying to them, "Yeah, but I got further than what you ever would have. Like, I never. Like,
Yeah,
you
but you
didn't
don't
get
have to tell
discovered
him that.
on."
You don't have to tell him
No, I
that.
didn't.
Mate, listen, right, honestly, dude. If I took everything to heart that people said to me, like,
Yeah,
and I use it as like, all right, like I get a lot. So like the last thing I did, like in my drift car, drifting is very an art for me now. It's what I want to get good at. My last thing I did in my drift car, I said, I said in a video once, like, oh yeah, these tires don't create much smoke. And that's why they last for so long, because they're not like smoky tires. They're just quite good. And this guy put, you only don't make much smoke because you never get into the high revs and you never get out of first and second gear, you fucking dickhead, or something like that. And he was like, you fucking suck.
wow.
Stop trying to be like Monkey London, or it was something like that. And I was like, it hurt for a little while. It hurts. It fucks me off because I get really angry. Like ask Peck. Next time you see Peck, I say, how fucking wild can Adam get? Because like,
Yeah,
it can go 0 to fucking 100 like straight away.
0 to 100.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it gets like, you know, to where I have to really focus to control myself because I get angry. But I was like, do you know what would be fucking better? It's if in, you know, when I got the car sorted. This is why it stressed me out so much getting the car sorted, because I've wanted to show some of these fucking big mouths up. But I'm gonna be at, once the lockdown's over and drifting's back, I'm gonna be at every fucking drift day. And I'll probably vlog it a little bit, but that isn't going to be the reason I'm going. I'm not going there for content. I'm going there to get as fucking good at this as I can. I'm not doing it for anyone else, but I was to prove myself that I can do it. But also, the next time this fucking big mouth fucking prick wants to come and comment on my video or comment to me going, oh, you fucking do this, I'll be like, oh, fucking step in your car then, fella. Let's go. Let's go right now. This is why I'm learning to fight. Because if someone wants to call me out, I'll be like, all right, let's go. I'll knock you out, mate. All right, well, try. Come on, let's go. Just to let you know, I train with a professional fighter like 3 times a week. But if you really want to throw down, let's go. Because I feel talk is cheap. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So many people are horrible about me. I don't.
I just don't get why people are so critical. Yeah,
it's because they won't do it.
Like it,
because they're not doing it. It's because they're not willing to do it. They're not willing to step out of their comfort zone, and they see other people.
If I didn't like it, I wouldn't say anything. That's me. But maybe I'm a bit soft like that. But I wouldn't want to be like, well, I've got nothing good to say, so I won't say it.
Yeah,
like,
but I'm the same.
I'll say it to my friends, obviously, but I wouldn't put it on the web.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't go online and be like, that's shit.
But
I wouldn't say anything. I'd probably say to you, oh mate, is that video that guy did, for example? Yeah. It was a bit rubbish, wasn't it? Yeah.
But that's
it. It wouldn't go any further than that. Yeah.
There's a difference. So something James taught me, James Webb, my coach, one of my really good friends. I care about this guy now. So I know when I start to give a shit about people, I like them. I'm like, all right, they're going to be a part of my life. Like, I spend a lot of time with James, and he really helped me through that whole breakup situation as well. Stopped me going crazy, like legit. And he said to me one day, I said to him, oh yeah, I replied to this fucking troll on YouTube, basically saying like no one would. I can't remember exactly what I said. It was probably something horrible because like I can be really nasty sometimes, and it's something I'm trying to work on. And he said, I don't like that ad, because he's not a yes man. He's not willing to stand there and be like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny. He was like, I don't like that. And I was like, fuck it, he deserves it, mate. If he's going to be a cunt to me, he's going to get it back. And he was like, yeah, but that guy could have just had the worst day of his fucking life. And then he's gone home and he hates his job, and he's got a fucking horrible missus that abuses him like you had. And he's got no money to pay his bills. And then he turns on his TV and YouTube's recommended a video of you earning all this fucking money, doing all this shit to all of his dream cars. Of course, he's going to be fucking negative. So he said, don't fucking reply to him. Or and he goes, if you do, try and be positive and just be like, hey, man, I'm sorry you feel that way. I hope, you know, if you've got stuff going on, I hope you sort it out. Like, if you just hate me for being me, you don't have to watch, you know, like you can just skip by. And ever since then, every time I react, because I still do, it's still my intuition from a kid that was bullied my whole life, you know, like go, oh, fuck you, you know, like the internet was my little safe haven. I'm fucking, you know, now it's like, I tell you what, instead, I'm just going to keep doing what I like doing, which is car stuff. I like doing car stuff. I love doing gaming. All right. I'm never going to be a fucking pro gamer. I'm not very good at it, but like, I enjoy it. I like my dog. I like watching drifting. I like football. I'm never going to be a pro footballer, dude. I'm 31 and I can't even get in the local team. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, all right, but I enjoy it. So I go down and I go training. I still go training with them. Well, when we were allowed, I go training with the football team, and I've made some cool friends out of that as well. And I never want any of my friends, especially someone like you, who I think's talented at something, to feel they can't express themselves because they're scared of what other people can think. Because what happens online today is only hot news for today. Someone could say something like, let's say, for instance, I'm not saying, I hope he doesn't. Let's say Danny DC2, for instance, Daniel Sylvester. Let's say he comes out on one of his YouTube videos and he's like, fucking hell, that Adam guy is fucking still doing shit videos. You know, do you know what I mean? Or something that then spurs all his audience to come over and be nasty to me. That wouldn't make me go, oh, well, Dan doesn't like it, so I'm going to stop. I'd just be like, all right, fuck you, Dan. I'm going to go build a race car and I'm going to get in a race series and I'm going to do that as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun, like, for some things, but like, I don't know. I just don't want to see you put your dreams to bed when I think you probably, in my opinion, the reason why it didn't work out for you is because you got told no and you were like, oh, well, that's it then. Whereas if I get told no, I go, well, that guy's told me no. I'm going to go fucking do it myself. You know, like, I'm going to go fucking do it myself then. Oh, you won't give me a fucking TV show? I'll go make a YouTube channel. That was what it was. I was like, no one's going to let us have our own Jackass show. Let's make our own. You know, and like, that was what we used to do back in the day. It was like, oh, well, no one's going to sponsor my car for a build. I'll fucking build my own brand then and I'll put my own products on it. And I did. And, oh, no one will feature any of my cars. I'll make my own fucking blog and I'll feature my own fucking car on there then, you dickheads, because I want to do it. And then all of a sudden I'm getting more views per day than these fucking magazines that won't even blink at me are having subscriptions in a month. And I feel like maybe I had different influences growing up. Obviously, my dad is a businessman. He had businesses fail growing up. So I saw our go from being poor as we were to, oh, look, we've got some nice stuff now, to holy shit, what the fuck? Why is everyone panicking? To, right, let's rebuild. And I always believe in the rebuild will make you stronger and you can learn from your mistakes that first time round. And you can, I want you to give it a go. Even if you never post it anywhere, I just want to know that you're doing it and you're rapping and you might find a spark and be able to like rap about all the pain it felt of like failing. Because then it's okay to fail. You fucking show me a successful businessman, a multi-millionaire or a multi-billionaire that hasn't failed, and I'm going to show you a bullshitter. Because there's no way.
That's true.
There's no way. And this is why I don't believe a lot of these YouTubers that are just on a come up and they're like, oh, I'm really rich and famous now. I'm like, well, who's funding it? Who's funding it then? Because you ain't fucking, all right, you might be winning now, mate, but you're going to have a hard fall at one point because nothing lasts forever. So one or two people, it may get lucky and it might just work and it'll be, but look at fucking Zuckerberg. He's got one of the most fucking successful businesses, more money than anyone in the world. You know, he has got so much fucking money. Yet I'd say Facebook is failing now and Instagram is failing now. Like I used to be obsessed with all their apps. I don't fucking look at them anymore. I like TikTok now. That's where I spend all my time is on TikTok. Because I'm like, oh, cool. I can just scroll through funny things and I haven't got to look at any bullshit. And if I want to look at the comments, I can. But for the most part, I haven't got to look at them. So I can just do this. And I feel like you've probably got loads of stories and you've met the love of your life. You've had an amazing wedding. Why not fucking rap about that? And you could even then you've got an excuse to go to Vegas and do a fucking video. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the way I see it. Man. Like I fucking straight up refuse to be told no. Like like there's another thing I can touch on. There's a YouTuber that is all of a sudden on that I don't think deserves it. I know their history. They're all of a sudden going to be on a TV show now doing car stuff and on a massive YouTube channel with TV personalities doing car stuff. And I'm like, how the fuck's that scumbag got there? How?
Really?
All these people, even if it's not me, I know 50 YouTubers that are way better at it. Oh, right, okay. But now, so I've gone to people and said, hey, would you think, nah, sorry, man, I'm not interested. I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. I'll make my own.
That's crazy how that works, isn't it? What's the politics behind that?
Yeah, well, fuck it. And this is why I don't like relying on anyone. And I've had people come to me and, hey, I want to partner up with you in 621, and I think we can take it this way. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not partnering up with anyone, because then all of a sudden I got to listen to you, and I ain't listening to you. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm the kind of guy that's on a one-track path to wherever the fuck I'm going. I don't know. I've done all right so far. I've fucked up. I had a massive failure. Like I had the car parts I did. That whole nearly destroyed me. Like bad, like I wouldn't exist anymore type, like in the whole of the world, not just in the car scene. And I managed to get through it, work out a plan of action somehow in this mess of my head. And I was like, okay, this is the route I have to go down if I want 621 to still be a thing. We stopped doing the car parts, and I just admit defeat on that. And I hold my hands up and I go, it didn't work out. I tried. I lived my dream for a little while. I got to be hot shit. I had my own brand parts on cars that were winning race series, and it was amazing, but I couldn't sustain it. I weren't ready. And and this is why I'm 31 now. You're 31 too, right? You're the same age as me.
Yeah, just turned 31. Yeah.
I don't I genuinely believe, when people say your life starts at 30, like there's a lot of people that say that. And I literally, when I was going through my 20s, I was living life like a fucking, I've never touched like hard drugs, but like I honestly felt like if you could put like my 20s into a movie, it'd just be a fucking coked up crazy fuck sprinting. That's all it would be. Just I want to get to the next bit, to the next bit. And now I live this life where I'm like, all right, let's actually work out how to really level up. How are we going to do that? And I keep doing the YouTube, but no one knows what's really going on behind the scenes. People know I have a job. They know, okay, I'm doing it, but they don't know what the fuck I'm actually doing. And like, if in 2 or 3 years I've made enough money to start buying what I want, to, fucking sick. But people will be like, well, how's you done that? It's YouTube channel's shit. I'm like, all right, well, YouTube's not the only way I earn money. Like I've got a lot of other stuff that I believe in, and like, I've got stuff that makes me fuck all money. My YouTube channel, it makes me fuck all money in reality of things. My Twitch, I get like 15 people watching me a day if I'm lucky. And then when I have 15 people, I feel so great. Like it's 15 people. I'm like 15 people right now are choosing to spend their time with me.
Yeah, they're sitting in the living room basically watching you play a game.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
Literally.
And I'm so grateful for that shit now. Whereas 10 years ago, I wouldn't have given a shit. I'd have looked at them numbers and been like, oh, fuck that, I ain't doing that shit, fuck that. This podcast doesn't get anywhere near the numbers that some of my YouTube videos get, but I like doing it. I love the conversations we get to have. And like, I'd never hear about that story ever. When would we ever had an hour and a half to sit down and you tell me about that?
Yeah, I feel bad we haven't spoken about cars, really. I feel bad.
No. We have spoken about cars. We spoke about cars for like 45 minutes. It's fucking sound.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want this just to
It is weird, though. Like, it's funny you say about the music, though. It's weird because like you say to me, like I still get the American guys message me and be like, man, honestly, I wish like you just didn't give up with that. Like what may have been like you gave up way too early on it. Like my mate Eddie tried to get in contact with Rick again because he's now living in LA. Like he's doing really well for himself. Like I've got his Rick on Facebook, and he had a picture of a couple of months ago, and there's a picture of him in a strip club. I don't know, because America's living like normal out there. It's weird.
Yeah.
A picture of him in a strip club, I kid you not, with two like big booty bitches, and he's like a little. I think you've seen the picture. I'm sorry, Charlie, but you're nerdy looking guy. He's like 5'6", big glass. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to blacklist myself now for saying that. And he's got his arms around these two strippers, and who's in between with him? Method Man.
No way.
I'm gonna send you a screenshot later on of it on his profile picture.
That's
he
awesome.
Had he's worked with, like, he had a picture of Busta Rhymes last year in the studio, just like because he's like just boys with Busta, and he was just like, he put a thing up on his Facebook, like just chilling with Busta again, like as a joking.
What's to stop you giving it a go, mate? Other than your own, it's your own insecurity that's stopping you.
Yeah, that's 100%. I think you've aired me out there with that.
You're right. Guaranteed to get negative reaction because people are cunts. Simple. But
yeah, I don't get why. Because
just don't fucking look at it. Like literally, or have a look at it and be like, hey, look, Virgin Boy 7038 just said I'm a fucking bearded Jesus looking motherfucker. And then you can be like, well, I guess I am. Like, that's what I found most pleasure in. People be like, oh, you're a little fat bald man. I'm like, right. Okay, yeah, I am. I am a little bit overweight and I have no hair. Cool. And you're like, I got people like comment on the podcast I did about Mr. JWW, like, this fucking guy wears a hat indoors. And I just reply, I normally wear my hood up as well. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, well, yeah, I am wearing my hat. And like everyone goes, well, you lost me at yo, yo, yo. Because that's how I like to start my podcast. I'm like, it's not my problem that you don't like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't all get brought
don't
up
treat
in
yourself
fucking
so seriously, man.
Yeah, we didn't get all brought up in fucking private school, you know, like fucking hell. Like I like going yo, yo, yo because it's funny and it's an easy way to get myself hyped up for what I'm about to do. I don't care what
literally
anyone says.
highlighting such small details of a big picture just to highlight it. Like just how bad it got for me at one point where I never realized how as I've got older, I've got worse with this was with my friends, I care about what they think. With the people I thought I didn't. But then when you did that video last summer of me doing the track review of the EP, and you just said, be you, because you'll be enough with the car and I'll steer you where I want you to go with it. And when you released the video, I was so excited because I was like, it sounds a bit big head. I was like, I do love hearing myself talk because I was like, I do miss the whole hearing my voice doing a video like when I do music videos. Like I didn't tell you that, but I kind of, it's my kind of like my short-term fix for having that bridge of where I don't do that anymore. Yeah, it's like, that's so cool to be on a good video, hearing myself talk about something I love and know about. And it's just natural, like the same thing with the music. And what was really bad about that, toxic for me, was the first thing I looked at wasn't the views. It was what were the comments about what people have said and were any of the comments about me. Dude. And I got off lucky because when I read them all, I could not believe how many people were saying nice things about me, which says it shouldn't matter what a stranger says, but that was I was like, wow. And everyone said like, wow, he seems like a real nice guy, the kind of guy, like if you met him, he'd be real normal to talk to. He just seems to not take himself seriously. And it's silly. It's crazy how a load of strangers can have an opinion on you and it makes you feel happy. But yet one of those strangers said something bad, which they didn't. They might do now just to be bitter because this podcast, but they didn't. And I would some reason focus on that one negative as opposed to those 12 really nice comments about people. And I felt that's really unhealthy. Like, why do I?
That's what I'm like, mate. But I'll tell you what, here's just me, because I act all like, well, I am confident. You know, I'm confident, but I have been on Officially Gas podcast. It's not out yet. As of us recording this.
Yeah, he done well, hasn't he? He's done really well.
He hasn't released his podcast yet, dude. And I filmed it a week ago. And I have run through the conversations in my head going, oh my God, what did I say? What did I say? Oh my God, are people...
Yeah, I'll be doing that tonight.
Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? And I'm panicking because also he's had some really big guests on. I do not believe I'm going to pull the numbers he's used to. And that is what makes me praying out as well. Because I'm like, fucking hell, like if it doesn't do well, he'll never want me back on again. But we had such good conversation. And I got so much more to say. I hope he invites me back on. Like, and like, I'm like, I am fucking shitting myself about this thing being released because his audience are not my audience. And
yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm terrified that they're just going to be like, oh, he's a spoiled little rich cunt, or he's fucking this and that, or he's this and that. And like, and I think I say a lot. I think I said something about vaccine passports as well or something. I was like, just fucking take it. Stop being a cunt. Just fucking have the vaccine. Take your passport. Shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean? I was like, we've got it easy here. If they're asking you to carry on a fucking vaccine passport, just fucking do it. Because otherwise it's going to end up being implemented like it would be in China. And trust me, you don't want to fucking have them laws put on us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like people don't know how good we've got it here. And like, yeah, I know exactly how you feel, but you have to overcome that barrier to push yourself forward. Because when you step into the discomfort zone, out of your comfort zone, into where it is uncomfortable, that is where art is created. That is where beauty is created. That is where you find the inner you, the real you. When you're like, all right, I'm now in a fucking world that I don't find comfortable anymore. Let's see how we get on. You know, like fucking hell, like this is scary. Like I'll give you a little exclusive as well. So, because we're coming towards the end of the podcast, we'd have to wrap it up. But I may be on a dating TV series soon. BBC got in touch. Man. Yeah, BBC got in touch. And obviously I'm single at the minute. and I'm feeling pretty good at the minute. I don't look it, but they've given me enough time to make sure I can get into some shape because of this pandemic. They actually want to film now, but they can't. So I think I'm through to the final selection stage. Like the girl keeps ringing me, making sure I'm still single. Basically, she's like, "Yo, you still good?" Like, "Yeah, I'm still single."
You have to pretend like, yeah, I'm holding myself up just for you.
Yeah. It's not that literally 0 girls are interested. It's because I'm
But you
purposely
don't tell them
holding
that. You
myself.
don't tell them that.
No, I say I'm fucking fighting them off with a stick, mate. Like, but no, I might be on this dating show. I don't know yet. I've said yes. I've said I'd do it because why the fuck not? Like, I am so uncomfortable to do that, man. And they were like, "Yeah, we want to get you some of your cars in there and all this sort of stuff." I was like, "Fucking hell!" Like, to me, like, my comfort zone is my garage with my cars because I'm comfortable in there. Like, I've got skateboards on the walls in here. Like, I've got a fucking computer that lights up different colors. Like, it keeps me feeling a bit young. I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool." Like, I don't feel that one. But then that going out to the big audience out there, you know, it makes me fucking shit myself. I'm like, you know what? I could just have a good time on here. And who knows? Like, I might not even get on with the girl if I do get on the show. I might not get on with her, but a girl watching it might be like, fucking hell, he's a bit of me. He's a bit quirky.
Yeah.
I quite like that. And something could come from that. Or I obviously want to step into comedy, which is my big fucking
I know you've been doing that. Yeah.
And every time I write a little joke, I send it off to my mate and I record it and I send it to him. I'm like, I know it's rough. Just tell me what you think. And he'll come back being like, "Nah, I didn't really like this bit, but the rest of it's really good." And I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll work around that." That is out of my comfort zone, man. And I had a real flopper of a gig as my last one. And obviously because of COVID, it's been about a year since that fucked gig.
Yeah.
where
She's well on that.
I've dwelled on it every day, and I didn't even want to write anything for a good 3 months afterwards. But now I've got some little bits in the work, and I'm like, okay, once this all opens up and I can get on stage again, I'll definitely book myself in for some London gigs because I love London. I love going up there. I love being out of my comfort zone. And the best thing about it is no one has a preconceived opinion of me in that world, you know, because I'm new,
fresh eyes,
a new boy, you know, and like the fun thing for me is having the YouTube channel as a backup. You know, you might get a comedian that thinks he's fucking Barry Big Bollocks because he's got 5,000 followers on YouTube. Then they'll click on mine and might be like, "Oh, he was fucking shit." And then they'll click on my Instagram and see he's got 24,000 followers. Who the fuck is this guy? You know, like, who the fuck is it? Why has he got 60,000 on YouTube? Oh, I'm good at other things as well, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I do other things as well people enjoy. I'm just dipping my feet in this comedy thing because I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
New flavor. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just think you got to chase your passion, and I'm going to be fighting for you to push for it because I want it to happen for you. And even if it goes fucking nowhere, who gives a shit? At least you're doing something you enjoy.
Yeah, maybe I should get a song drummed up and get a video done with my guy. I just need someone to, like I say, need to find someone that can master music for me.
Why?
And then go from there.
What does that mean?
So briefly, when you do so briefly, I record a track. I need a studio really, or just even at home. I used to have a home studio. So even a home studio, like a mic, a popper, some software on your MacBook, and you can do a pretty rough version. You need someone just to basically tidy up, crisp up all the back of music and the vocals. Not overemphasize, just crisp it up. You know what I mean?
There you go. You got something to look for. You got something
when you crisp it up. Yeah, that's what I've always struggled to find though around here, is to find someone that will do it, and anyone that does do it. And that sounds bad, but it's mad money.
We have phones now. Be like, yo, I want to get back into this. I need someone to do this. Does anybody know somebody? Please share. I'll share it. Someone might know, even if someone might share it on. We live in a digital world now, dude. Like 10 years ago, back when you were popping in the music and I was popping in the blog scene.
So different back there. It's
so different now. It's so different now. It doesn't work the same. And that's what I've had to get my head around, because everything that worked for me 10 years ago doesn't work anymore. So I'm like, shit, I was relying heavily on my old tactics for what I used to do to succeed. Can't do it anymore. I've got to figure it out, which is what I'm trying to do now. I talk to everybody. I talk to you. We spend hours on the phone sometimes talking, you know, about what's the next movies. But now it's time for me to return that favor and get you to start making some music again. And that, my dude, is where we're going to need to end today. So, Sam, shout out your socials. Please let everybody know where they can find you and where they're going to be able to find your fucking music that you're going to drop.
So, the Instagram is SamTheManVision. So, SamTheManVision, all one word. And if you want to have a little cringe or maybe support it, some of the music videos or some of the videos of the music on my YouTube, I think it's right. Make sure it's right for that, Adam.
It's the same as your Instagram.
It's not changed. It used to be SamTheMan26. It's not.
SamTheManVision. I'm looking at it right now. SamTheMan26 is your URL though. So if you type in youtube.com/SamTheMan26, you will find the channel. I think we need to get you fucking at least trying to write music. I think it's healthy.
Maybe build on that.
I think
okay, man.
You might have some creativity that you need to let out, because fuck it, why not?
Yeah, it's all stored in there.
And then
so
you can
why
take
not?
that fucking mixtape to your boss and be like, baby, I've got the new mixtape. Thanks
for having me, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, dude. Thank everybody out there for listening. This has been a fucking long one, but I think it's been really, really, really good. So Sam, you've been an amazing guest. We'll definitely have you on again. I might add you into a conversation, maybe get a couple of other people in so we can talk cars and car scene and all that sort of stuff. I think it'll be really good.
I would love that.
Oh, I've lost you again.
I'm still here. 20%. My phone goes, I'm almost dying.
Right, we're out. Thank you guys ever so much. I hope you'll hit follow on this whatever platform you're listening to, or subscribe if this is on YouTube. I will one day get around to doing clips of this, so they'll be much more broken down so people can listen to this conversation. And yeah, Sam, it's been brilliant. Thank you very much, dude.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thanks for having me, mate.